normally start every hour by saying something to the effect of, it's 8 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock on... Well, I don't do it on Saturday. You're right. For some strange reason. But every other day I do. It's 8 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock on Friday, October the 9th, 1987. I'm Bob Lassiter.
Everybody should do that because I've lost sometimes days. All right, for the last...
Well, that's okay. I've sat here and given the wrong date for 4 hours, and nobody's bothered to say anything about it because they didn't know either, I guess. Well, callers between 20 and 30, it's just not going to happen. It's just not... Well, I don't think they're in school, but... Name is Ezola Foster, chairperson of the Black Americans for Family Values, located out of Los Angeles. Ezola, am I pronouncing your name correctly, first of all?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
Ezola Foster.
Okay. Ezola, I'm always a little bit curious and, frankly, a little bit skeptical about organizations that have names like Black Americans for Family Values. It's kind of like, Lithuanians in favor of motherhood. Who's not in favor of family values?
Well, let me say this to you, first of all, that we are a community outreach program of the American Association of Women.
Hey.
Well, I couldn't see how you could compare teaching mathematics to teaching masturbation. I mean, there's a big difference there.
What do you have against masturbation?
Well, teaching masturbation has anything to do with preventing AIDS.
Teaching masturbation?
Yes,
you mean what do they do? Sit around in a circle or something and start?
In some classes they do, and in other classes they give you all
You wish to go on record as telling me that there are public schools in California that literally physically teach masturbation?
As a result of this. These are parents who are calling in hurting every day.
Yeah, well, that's great, Ezola. By the way, do they also teach manners in California? I was asking a question when you just started talking over me. I'll ask the question again. Do you wish to go on the record as literally telling me that in the state of California there are public schools that teach masturbation, that have people sitting in a circle?
I will go on record in telling you that the California State Department of Education passed guidelines for teachers in the California schools, grades K through 12, that yes, there's nothing wrong with masturbation, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with neutral masturbation.
There's a real big difference between saying there's nothing wrong with masturbation and teaching masturbation, isn't there?
What are you teaching when you're teaching there's nothing wrong with something?
There isn't anything wrong with masturbation. Maybe you don't want to masturbate, but that's fine. But because you have your sexual hang-ups, there's no reason to try to pass them on to other people, is it?
Well, why do you want to pass them on to my child? Nor
is there any reason to exaggerate, and I'm being polite with exaggerate, by trying to tell other people that the California school system is teaching masturbation.
So then you are in agreement that the California school teachers should teach homosexuality to our children as an alternative lifestyle?
No, what I'm trying to determine is just how credible a guest you are, because we've already caught you now in telling us that the California school system is teaching masturbation when in fact it isn't.
I will send you the guidelines where it states that. It is in the guidelines. Now,
no, what you told me is what you told me.
I will be glad to send it to your listeners. But don't discredit me because I'm telling you about the research.
Would you like to continue with the interview, or do you want to go now?
You could check with the California State
Would you like to continue with the interview, or would you like to go now?
Well, to tell you...
Goodbye.
Deal with you.
Goodbye. Play some commercials. I'm not going to put up with this.
If you're a business...
whatsoever to put up with another right-wing lunatic, deal with the truth, but has to deal with innuendo and supposition and so forth and so on. The blood pressure is really rising. But I'm not going to sit here and give credence to somebody who will try to pass along to you the inference that the state of California is teaching children how to masturbate. Nah, that's stupid. That's stupid. Leaders are new slave masters. Hey, who needs that nonsense? I don't. Maybe you do, but I don't today. It's a rainy Monday. It's a miserable rainy Monday. And I just don't feel like talking to lunatics. Let me give you the telephone number, speaking of battle. Speaking of lunatics, Scott in Clearwater. Hi, you're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, this is Scott in Clearwater.
In Clearwater, yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm not a lunatic, though, but let's
talk about the truth a little bit here? Since you didn't want to let the lady on, why don't you talk to Phyllis Schlafly about things that go on and that are taught by...
I'll program my own show, thank you. Did you have something you wanted to add to the program, or you just want to meander down the lane as you normally do, saying nothing? I mean, was there something in particular that you had in mind today?
Well, you were very rude to the lady, as usual.
Uh-huh.
And as far as talking over people, you did that to her.
I'm sick and tired of you. I really am. Gloria in Sarasota, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, what, Gloria?
I thought that you were the most rudest person I'd ever heard before. You were so busy getting all over this lady.
Gloria, do you have the sense to follow instructions? What were you told? Gloria, what were you told when you picked up the phone? You were told to turn your radio down.
All over this lady. And she did not even have a chance to speak.
Yeah, she did have a chance to speak,
Gloria. Are you advocating gay rights? Because you must be the lunatic. How can you dare
No, I don't advocate gay rights, Gloria. What I advocate is teaching people about what they might encounter in life.
Then you are not allowing anybody else to say anything on your show.
Are you on the show, Gloria?
Are you on the show? Because I don't know if I'm listening to you or is this your station?
No, Gloria. You see, you were too damn stupid to follow the directions that the man who answered the phone gave you. He told you to turn your radio down because there's a 7-second delay and it would confuse you. And you were too stupid to follow the directions, Gloria. Now would you like... Ah, okay, so hang up now. You're stupid. You can't follow directions, so you hang up on me. Helen in Clearwater. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hello.
Hello, Helen.
I gather from the conversation you had with the lady that she was objecting, in part, as a citizen, in having her children learn about masturbation in school.
Helen, what you gathered, by the conversation.
That's your problem.
Well,
but
Helen,
we do not want our children in schools to be learning that type of thing. Don't talk over me. You'll never win.
Won't I? I just did. What you gathered, Helen, is that the woman was spreading misinformation, and I objected to it. The misinformation she was spreading, Helen, was a bald-faced lie about the California school system teaching children how to physically masturbate. Don't ever tell me I won't win, Helen.
Doing you know what? I can think of a lot better things for young people to be engaged in
than sitting around doing you know what.
Yeah, masturbating, and that's what the public schools, that's the direction that the public schools should be pointing young people in.
I think it is the direction they're pointing them in.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it when in sex education courses they're teaching, it's perfectly fine if you masturbate 6 times a day, it's okay. You're only doing it too much if you miss meals. That's the kind of stuff that I've read as a teacher in curriculums that are being published right now and are being used in some school systems.
Would you care to name one of those school systems that is literally teaching it's okay to masturbate as long as you don't miss meals?
Well, probably.
Would you care to name one school system?
Well, where was that lady from that you were interviewing earlier in the show? Apparently
Los Angeles.
That's the material that's being
No, it's not apparently the material that's being used there. You made a flat-out statement that there are school systems in this country teaching such information. I'd like to know which one it is.
Okay, how about the city and county of San Francisco?
The city and county of San Francisco are definitely teaching that, and you know that for a fact.
I know that's the material they've adopted, Bob, because I happened to study this material. I've sat on committees, and these things have been pitched to me by publishing companies, and that kind of stuff is brought out as part of their sales pitches.
Right. There is a course out there that says masturbate all you want as long as you don't miss meals.
Hey, when the kids ask, can masturbation be harmful? In some of this material, that's the answer that teachers are supposed to give.
Well, the answer is to that question, can masturbation be harmful? The answer is no. Isn't it?
Bob, the answer for people like you is no, but for people
the answer is no, period.
For people who want to promote selfishness and self-centeredness, the answer is, hey, all you want.
Right. Thanks so much, Dan. Next time you call, be it this station or any other station or any other program, try being honest to start with, okay?
Hey, Bob, it doesn't matter what you or I believe. That's being honest. It's what the public schools are there to teach is the point and the reason that I call.
Right, and we have already established that there aren't any public school systems teaching masturbation, haven't we?
Not teaching how to masturbate, but promoting it as a fine and worthwhile activity, yes.
No, again, I would ask you to name the school system promoting masturbation as a fine and worthwhile activity.
San Francisco, and probably several others in California.
It's a tragedy that you are so clear on your sexual morality, but you don't seem to be over clear on the immorality of lying.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Or making things up as you're going along to foster your point.
If people were not buying this curriculum material, they would not be publishing it, Bob.
Who's the publisher? Who is the publisher of this material?
Bob, you know good and well, People for the American Way publish material like that.
Oh, do they really?
Yes, they
People
do.
For the American Way. People for the American Way do not. People for the American Way are not curriculum publishers, are they?
They publish material and advise teachers to use it.
Are they?
Hey,
are they? People for the American Way are not curriculum publishers, are they?
That is one thing that
are
they do.
Are they? Yes or no?
Many organizations...
Yes or no, the People for the American Way are not curriculum publishers. And you know it as well as I do, and you, sir, are nothing but a liar.
Many organizations publish educational material.
Yes, many organizations do publish educational material, but the People for the American Way do not publish curriculum material because they are not curriculum publishers.
Hey, anybody can get into that game.
Get off my phone with.
It's so free for masturbation. Why didn't they let the 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds do it right there in the classroom, huh? Let them go ahead and do it. All I can say is you're nothing but a big, fat, Bolshevik bully turd.
A big, fat Bolshevik bully turd. You totally agree with somebody who said absolutely nothing. I see. That's a very interesting point of view, Pat. You don't even know what the hell you agree with, do you? You don't even know what the hell you agree with. You don't even have that much intelligence, do you, Pat? Yeah, so why not let the 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds just sit there in the classroom and masturbate? Real intelligent, Pat. Real intelligent kind of talk. A perfect prime example and a beautiful spokeswoman for your cause, Pat. A moron. Jerry and Tappy.
Hey.
Hi.
I was just wondering, do you think masturbation's so right? Do you go home every night and do this?
No, I don't have to go home every night and do it.
Oh, okay. Because I know how to read and write. I was taught about sex from my parents.
What's wrong with masturbation, Mary?
Because it's not right.
Why isn't it right, Mary?
Then why don't you get
Why isn't it right? Well, I have an urge to eat, too, and so I eat. You know, should I control that urge, too? What is wrong with masturbation, Mary? What is wrong with masturbation?
Because it is not proper.
Why isn't it proper, Mary? That's it.
That's it.
Is that what your book tells you?
2 men or 2 women.
So you don't even know why, do you, Mary? All you know is that somebody told you, and you haven't even stopped to think about whether or not that makes any sense, have you, Mary?
I just think you're rude.
You just think I'm rude. Oh, I just think you're rude because you challenged me intellectually, and I can't stand up to it, so therefore you are rude. Love it, Mary. Love it. And you thought you'd really throw me with that question, do you go home and masturbate after the show? Sometimes, Mary. Not all the time. Can you deal with that, lover? Sometimes I get these wild urges. I run into people like you on the telephone. And I sit here all afternoon thinking about, boy, how nice it would be to ravage some old prude like that. And the urge just builds and builds and builds, Mary. Just builds. I get this great view of you standing there in your long, floor-length black dress with a high white starched collar and a cute little cap on with your Bible under your arm. I get this picture in my mind, and I can't control it, Mary. And so I'll drive up and down the street looking for you, and when I can't find you, I'll go home. And I'll take a big pillow, and I'll put a black dress on it, and a little cap, and then I fall back onto the bed, exhausted, satisfied, a faint smile on my lips. I fall asleep. John's not on the air at WFLA. That's too bad. He was in vehement disagreement with me. Well, let's try Rick in Tampa. Rick, you're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Bobby. How you doing?
Fine.
I want to tell you that masturbation is wrong, baby. It's bad.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't believe me, do you?
Why is it bad, Rick?
Well, you can get hurt. That's right. You know, my mama called me masturbator, and that woman liked to warm my butt out. She beat me like a red-headed stepchild. Now, tell me that ain't dangerous. Now, you might say my mama was wrong, baby. You try and educate my mama.
Rick, you got such a long ways to go before you're going to be, a good crank caller. Hello, Jumbo.
Oh, I just want to look at this sex from a different angle from what's been said. Did you know autosexuality, which is masturbation, is related to homosexuality? And homosexuality...
How is masturbation related? How is masturbation somehow in the same category as homosexuality?
Well, you take two males get together, they get sex satisfaction from each other. Yeah. And then that is in the place of autosexuality. Now, heterosexuality is the normal way. And there is no substitute for sex. So some of the other things about masturbation, autosexuality, if one sleeps on a bed where an older brother has gonorrhea...
Bed with them and they've had gonorrhea and passed it along.
Oh, yeah, it can be passed away. Yeah. Now, I would be glad if I hear a doctor call in and give his version. Now, if you can, if it's possible, to keep the male busy developing his body, and that's another thing. And one discharges his bodily substance, he fails to develop certain necessary glands.
Oh, really?
Right.
Really? Which glands are they?
Huh?
Which glands are they?
Well, they are the
kind of stunts his growth, huh?
No, the sebaceous glands. Yeah. When one has acne or bumps on his face and thinks it's due to no outlet in sex, and he tries to get them off of his face by masturbating, but he destroys the necessary substance in his body to develop a healthy penis. Now, people who masturbate a great deal have much smaller penises.
Oh, really?
Cannot give sex satisfaction like the ones who postpone it until they get older.
This is a classic.
Yeah. So that's one reason that you shouldn't masturbate.
Really?
Because
it'll make the penis smaller, I see.
Huh?
It'll make the penis smaller, I see.
Yes. But you see, the stuff that you discharge is what the body needs to make it develop. And make the glands develop. Is to make the testicles develop. Yeah. And the necessary sex glands, you see. You take the epididymis in the testicles. That epididymis needs to develop, you see. Now, if you keep it discharged out, you can see yourself that if it's discharged, then the blood in the body does not absorb what the body produces to strengthen the brains and other parts of the body.
Oh, so if you masturbate, you won't have full mental capacity either?
No, you won't.
I see.
Right. That's right.
How long have you been living in this kind of ignorance, Jumbo?
Well, now, this is something that was gotten from Dr. Kensher at Indiana University. And this is, many cases have come up to substantiate it. Yeah, in all nations.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you can keep the male busy, you see, and taking plenty of physical exercise and developing his muscles, rather than just a sex pervert, you see. And
do you have an extra large penis, Jumbo?
Huh?
Is that why they call you Jumbo, because you have an extra large penis?
Somewhat.
I see.
Yeah. But now,
Too bad it worked in that area, but it didn't work with your brain capacity.
Technique since 4th grade, and so is just about every guy I've known, practically. And I would think by now, if what he said was true, I'd be going into the negative as far as size is concerned.
Oh, it's one of the most absurd. That's even more absurd than the warts on your palms.
Well, I got a few warts, but I don't.
And you made a good point about kids, being self-conscious about their size. That would really make them feel awful. Oh, God, I did that yesterday. Everyone's going to notice,
Yes, exactly. That's the whole concept behind that type of wives' tale, if you will.
I also found, talking to some friends of mine when we were in high school, we also found that sometimes masturbating before, say you masturbate, then the next night you're actually into sexual activity. I find that sometimes it helps. It enhances a little bit.
Yes.
And so have a lot of other gentlemen that have...
The only medical reason I have ever heard against masturbation is that if you masturbate without being fully erect, then you kind of somehow trick your system into thinking that it doesn't have to become, the male member does not have to become fully erect, and that you might have some potency problems. But even that is quite treatable, quite reversible. And that is the only medical reason I've ever heard.
Well, that's all I basically want to say. It's a great show. It's the first time I ever heard it. I'm kind of new to the area. But you can be sure I'll be listening on a regular basis from now on.
Thank you, Tom. 2:33 the time. I received a call earlier this afternoon complaining that I don't recap often enough, and that's a legitimate, I suppose that is a legitimate complaint. But where the hell do you begin to recap a show like this? It all started out at noon when I had a guest on the telephone, a woman from Los Angeles, who I thought was going to talk to me about Desmond Tutu and Jesse Jackson. But right out of the chute, she starts talking about homosexuality, sex education, and masturbation. That's fine with me. It kind of perked me up. I was a little bit down and dull, dim-witted today when I came into the studio. So she and I had a rather heated 20-minute discussion, and finally I ended up dismissing the guest. Frankly, I hung up on her. She was speaking, in my humble opinion, nonsense. And we also caught her exaggerating and stretching the truth and, frankly, lying through her teeth. And I just wasn't in any mood to put up with it. And consequently, we have spent now the last 2 hours and 34 minutes discussing masturbation and other related topics. It's fine with me. I'm enjoying the conversation. Jeff in Pinellas.
Sex over me, like, do you understand what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, sure.
What I would do in those situations would be, let's say we're sitting watching television, or she goes and gets a family album out or something like that. I can't concentrate on what's on TV. I could care less what's in the picture album. I have one thing on my mind. And now this is dominating my control. I'm losing my control. So what I used to do is I used to say, may I use your bathroom? And of course they would always say yes, I'd go to the bathroom.
Well, of course the alternative is unacceptable.
Forcing myself or feeling as though I'm begging or something like that, I wanted to maintain control. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I know what you mean now. I didn't pick up on that.
That's okay. It's just one of those things that,
Anyway, I'd go to the bathroom and masturbate, and I would come back a different person. What's on TV? Where's that picture album? Let's look through it.
This lady that taught her son masturbating, and she wouldn't let him finish, so I went out and raped a 14-year-old girl. So the lawyer pleaded insanity for him. They sent him to a mental institution for a year, and they let him masturbate all he wanted to. When he came out, he
a little bit of time to explain myself before you cut me off?
Well, it all depends on how,
all right,
rude you are, John.
I want to say that last lady from Clearwater, Barbara, was very interesting in discussion, and I agree with everything she's saying. I'm a clergyman, a priest, and I've been studying moral theology, giving the representation of a moral theologian to be.
I don't see where masturbation's a moral problem.
What?
I don't see where, masturbation's a moral problem.
Bob. It's not just... Sex is something that's a power that God's given for a definite purpose.
Well, that's what you say.
You said you let me talk.
No, I said I'd hold a conversation with you.
Yeah, but may I say what I'm going to say, then you can answer it?
Well, we'll hold a conversation with normal give and take, John.
Yeah.
I'm the one that does the monologues.
Yeah, but may I express my thought before, and then you can give your answer?
Go ahead, John.
All right. Sex is not a need in the same way food, water, air, and sleep are a need that you're going to die if you don't have it. It's something that God gave for a definite purpose, for love between husband and wife and the mutual procreation of children. It's not given as a plaything. So,
well, John, you don't know that any more than I. John, you don't know that any more than I know that that's not true.
Huh?
You're going on hearsay, John.
I'm going on the teaching of the Bible. And
exactly, hearsay. Hearsay, written by men. You're going on words.
No, not written by men. We believe the Bible is written by God.
No, nobody believes the Bible is written by God, John. There are some people that believe it's inspired by God.
Wait a second. Every Christian that's a true Christian believes the Bible is the inspired Word of God.
Yeah, there's a big difference between the inspired Word of God and written by God, isn't there?
No, yeah, inspired by the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. So that it's written under the inspiration of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you're getting direction from God himself, who created you as well as me and everyone else.
Mm-hmm. So, and the same God who inspired these men to write down these sexual morals also inspired men to talk about fire-breathing dragons that existed.
Well, I'm not getting into the Old Testament. I'm not a scripture...
Oh, I beg your pardon, John. That's where it all comes from, the Old Testament. Don't try to beg off the Old Testament.
No, there's a lot comes from Jesus in the New Testament, too.
Yeah, which all comes from the Old Testament.
In regard to masturbation, I don't say it's anything as serious a sin as fornication or adultery or homosexuality, but it isn't something that we've taught is just a small thing. It's something that is wrong and therefore should be avoided as much as it can be.
Why, John?
Huh?
Why?
Because it's a moral, it's in the Bible it is...
Oh, because the Bible says it's wrong.
It's expressed as a sin of onanism, and it's a misuse of sex outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm. The Bible also says that a woman's monthly flow is an abomination in God's eyes. Do you believe that, John?
No, I don't think the Bible ever said that.
Oh, but it does.
Well, can you quote the text?
Ezekiel.
Huh?
Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel. So round about chapter 41, as memory serves me.
That you mean menstruation is what?
Is a woman's monthly flow is an abomination in God's eyes.
Well, we don't have to believe that.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's a pick and choose book. You can believe what you want and not believe what you don't want.
No, that particular thing may be from a particular time of that era, you know, in centuries ago.
Yeah.
But don't get off the subject.
Oh, I'm not, John. Yeah. I'm quite on the subject. If you're going to tell me that... Oh, no, I beg your pardon, John. If you're going to tell me that masturbation is wrong because the Bible says it's wrong, then you open up everything in the Bible for discussion, John.
Huh? I'm Father John.
No, you're John on the show.
Well, if I want to give my title, I can give it, can I?
Well, you can give it, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm under no obligation to use it.
Uh-huh. All right. I think that you shouldn't just throw aside the teaching of Christianity willy-nilly without having a representative of the Christian faith there. I think it's an unfair way to present your program, Bob.
John, you're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe, but when you try to shove it down my throat, then you're going to deal with me. I'm going to stand up and defend myself.
I just tell it, there's such a thing as truth, Bob.
Yeah, your truth, John. Your truth ain't my truth.
There's such a thing as truth.
Right.
There, huh?
Yeah, right, John, but your truth is not my truth.
Don't you believe
it will not be shoved down my throat.
Don't you believe that such a thing as objective truth?
Objective truth? What does that mean, John?
That means the truth that exists in itself, that there's such a thing. You see that there's trees and air and everything that's right there, and you believe it's there because you see it?
Yeah, well, they're real easy to prove that trees exist. That's, we can all agree on that.
Creation of nature and everything. But my point is, your program is very interesting, and you're a very good discussion leader. I want to give the positive side of you. But I think when you're treating moral subjects, you should give a chance for moral teachers.
Well, I'll tell you what, John.
Why don't you invite a priest or a minister
I'll tell you what, John. I will do that when you keep your moral teachings in your church and don't try to bring them out into the streets.
They should be brought. That's where they belong, in the streets. Jesus walked the streets. He didn't stay just in the synagogue.
Hearsay again, John.
That's your opinion.
No, it's your opinion that it's true.
Were you brought up in any faith at all, Bob?
What difference does that make, John?
Well, I'm just interested.
Yeah, I was, John.
Yeah. You don't seem to show any basis of religious faith or moral.
John, I quite disagree with you. I am the way I am because of the religious faith I was brought up in.
No, that's just bitterness.
No, it's not bitterness, John.
It is.
Well, if you want to say that I'm bitter that I was lied to, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, in that case, it might be bitterness.
Well, I don't say that everyone that taught you is absolutely accurate, but there is such a thing as truth.
And I know, and you have the lock on it.
Huh?
I know, and you have the lock on it.
No, you have a lot to present, too. You've given many good points. Well, it's nice talking to you, Bob.
Take care, John.
Bye.
Yes, Bob. I was driving down Del Mabry, and I had this joke that I had heard that I thought I would tell you in regards to this subject today. It's a little Johnny joke.
Mm-hmm.
Little Johnny walked into his house, and there was his brother, and he was making love with his girlfriend on the couch. And little Johnny said, "What are you doing?" And his brother said, "Oh, I'm playing poker, and this girl here is my partner." So little Johnny ran up the stairs to his room. He looked down the hall, and there was his mom and dad making love in the bedroom. And he says to his dad, "Dad, what are you doing?" And his dad said, "Oh, Johnny," he said, "I'm playing poker, and your mother here is my partner." So about 30 to 40 minutes go by, and no one can find little Johnny, and they search the house. They go down in the basement, and they find little Johnny masturbating behind a big pile of newspapers. His dad said, "Johnny, what are you doing?" And Johnny said, "Well, I'm playing poker, but when you got a good hand, who needs a partner?" I thought it was cute.
I think it's cute too, Paul. I think it's real cute. Thank you.
Well, I got to go. Take care.
Bye-bye, Paul.
Rhythm.
She breaks my rhythm.
Breaks mine too. I have to go listen to something else until I figure she's off, and then come back to you.
George, let me put you on hold a second.
Good afternoon.
The time, apparently, Yvonne again once more broke George's train of thought because he's gone. He didn't wait through the hold. Such is life. I think it was her. Or was it the other one, Pointer, that he was talking about? I'm not really sure who poor George was talking about. I don't think he knows either.
And even the 7-Eleven, that's called the nigger bank, they call it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So who calls it that, Rick?
Yeah.
Who calls it that?
Everybody here, St. Pete.
Everybody? I live in St. Pete, Rick. I've never heard it referred to as that.
Well, you probably... hearing it for the first time?
Yes, I am, Rick. So I guess not everybody in St. Pete refers to it as such, huh?
That's right.
Just kind of you and your moronic friends refer to it as that.
Well, we don't tend to be morons. We call...
I know that you don't tend to be morons, Rick, but apparently you are.
We call them like we see them.
Calls them like you sees them.
Yes.
Interesting. Water, you're on the air at WFLA.
Is that Bob Lassiter?
I believe it is.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon.
My name's Bob, and I'm calling from Toronto, Canada.
From Toronto, Canada.
That's right. First of all, I'd like to bullshit. Phoning for Indian term meaning bullshit. You probably know what that means here.
Get off the phone, you jerk. That's in Clearwater High. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hey.
Or Biff, as the case may be.
This is Biff here.
Or Biff. Okay, Biff.
Can't you spell?
I'm not the one that does the spelling, sir.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're not going to...
Mad Mongrel James who...
Huh?
It's Mad Mongrel James who does the spelling.
Yeah, it really is a professional way he answers the phone, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's some organization you got yourself into.
Really?
Yeah, well, you're not going to be there much longer.
Oh, how come? Biff?
That's Biff, B-I-F-F.
Right. How come?
Because you're not going to be fighting the light bulb salesman much longer. You know about that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really worried about going up against Mr. Showbiz.
Hey, listen.
Yeah?
I hear that you're going to be gone next week, permanently.
Really?
And Wheeler's going to take your place.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. That's a real professional there.
Right.
Somebody said you...
Obviously, you're kind of guy. You're such a dim, dull person that obviously you would like someone like Wheeler who doesn't...
He's got a good
exactly
sense of humor, which is more than anything.
A good sense of humor, right, uh-huh.
I heard somebody saying you were going to have a fan club, a Lassiter fan club.
You got it.
When is this going to come about?
Real soon.
What, do you got 2 people gathered up there?
I don't have any people gathered up. I'm not in charge of it.
Were you going to have, what are they, those bumper stickers with Lassiter on it?
I'm not sure. I'm not in charge of it.
I'll get a whole bunch of those, baby, and I'll plaster them all over my car so the whole world will know where you're coming from, baby.
Oh, really? What's that mean, Biff?
Just to show you that we're not crazy out here. We'll show you.
Just to show me that you're not crazy out there, you'll show me. What will you show me, Biff?
Well, also, I'll tell you something else, Bubala.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even calling from my house.
Really?
I know you traced the phone calls.
You know I traced the phone calls, uh-huh.
Right. You traced them when you were on PLP.
Uh-huh. Does that kind of worry you, Biff?
No, because I always called from a payphone.
You always go out into a payphone to call. That's pretty smart, Biff.
See, I got those Canadian quarters, too. I ain't crazy.
Yeah. How long have you not been crazy, Biff?
I've never been crazy.
You've never been crazy. Well, of course not, Biff. No, I wouldn't want to call you crazy. No, not at all.
Now, listen, I got to know when you're going to have this fan club.
Why, Biff?
Because I want to know who's going to be your president.
I don't know, Biff. Why, do you want to be president, Biff?
No, I'd like to be secretary.
Secretary? Why do you want to be secretary?
No,
Biff?
I'd rather be the treasurer.
Do you like to wear dresses or something?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? You do like to wear dresses? What kind of dresses do you like to wear?
I'd rather be the treasurer.
Do you like to wear dresses off the shoulder, or what kind of dresses? High necks? What kind?
What, are you worrying about my sex life now, huh?
No, I'm not worried about your sex life, Biff. Just trying to determine where you're coming from.
I knew you were going to get into another sex show. You always manage to get sex in there, don't you?
You don't like sex, do you, Biff? How long have you not liked sex, Biff?
Ever since I was a little boy, Bob.
Ever since you're... What, was it something, that happened? Maybe, you and an older kid down the street or something, Biff? Maybe a babysitter.
I think it was with your sister.
No, I don't have a sister, Biff.
I know, not anymore.
No, I never did. I'm an only child, Biff.
Your only child was a brother, right?
No, I am an only child.
Your only child?
Yep, I'm an only child.
You were spoiled rotten, I'll bet.
Probably was, Biff.
Well, listen, I'll be calling you again when you get this fan club going.
Oh, hey, Biff, we'll look forward to that.
Okay.
Okay, Biff.
Bye-bye.
By the way, we got the number of the phone booth there, so we know pretty much where you live. Be this or that.
Don't play games with my head because it doesn't work.
Don't play games with your head. Well, how long has your head not worked, Ann?
My head works just fine.
Well, you just told me it didn't work.
My head works just fine.
Okay.
And I feel... Turn the radio down. I feel this way. I think that when you use the language that you use, that your other end is talking because I'm sure your mouth ought to know better.
When I use the language I use, which kind of language is that?
When you call somebody a whore.
Yeah.
And you...
I only call whores
You don't personally know this person.
No, but I know the definition of the word, and I know the definition. I assume, obviously, you're talking about Mrs. Robertson.
That's right.
Well, by her husband's definition, the woman's a whore.
Now, wait a minute. How would you like someone, because they don't like you or anything, that they called your wife something like that?
Oh, it happens all the time, Ann.
And
all the time.
You don't say anything about it?
What would you like me to say about it, Ann?
Well, at least be a man and stand up. I called the manager of the station.
You did?
I most certainly did.
What did he say? Did he take your call, Ann?
He told me the reason why they have you on is because the ratings are so high.
Well, that's what you keep saying. That you're taking everything from one drive and putting it on the other, and then when you get it done, you're going to put it back.
Well, see, the pertinent things, the little things, things that I've created using certain programs, that's the stuff I want to save.
So what's your question?
My question is, I was just asking you if it was okay to do that, going back and forth and put stuff on one drive and reformat it to another.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend. Hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, can you hear me better now, Bob?
No. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Is this like Lassiter or something? Mark Larson's a bonghole. You rule.
Not the best Beavis and Butthead I've ever heard, but it'll do for a Friday night. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
It's booty time, across the USA. Booty time, hey, hey, hey.
You're not the booty time guy from last week. You're stealing the guy's act. He was much better at it than you are. You know, again, you're just another one of these Generation X rip-off artists who hasn't an original idea in his whole damned head. Last week's booty time guy, he was cool. You are not. Go back to school. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah, try to steal Gordon Bird's act. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey.
Hey, I finally got a hold of that new segment you got in the mornings on with, oh gosh,
All you have to do is listen Wednesday night and you're going to hear it because I record them live on this show.
Oh, you do it while you're doing this show?
Yeah. Yeah, we do them usually in the last 10 minutes. So that way I don't have to stay afterwards and go in the control room and do it. I just do it right here.
You have got to be the king of slick, then.
Yes, I am.
Yes, it is very good. Hey, I was reading in...
All one takes, too.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Ted Webb was up there, he was talking to Jack, and he was saying he saw you do this, and he was amazed at the consummate professional that you are. He just told you board up now and did it, and that was it.
Yeah, well, that's Webb's trying to borrow money from me. That's why he says that kind of nice stuff.
I see.
He doesn't mean it.
I noticed that all these people here who claim that these other talk radio hosts on the station, Mark Larson,
Sir, there are no other hosts.
Well, see, that's because they don't, let's just say I think that Image is more boosted because I don't see them with their segment in the morning now, do they? No.
That's right. That's right.
But I was reading about that, you trade oats and barley and all that on the market, right?
Well, I trade, yes. Oats is a very touchy subject with me. I've only traded oats once in my entire life. I traded 2 contracts of it. It accounted for 15% of the entire day's volume, and I lost $800 in 10 minutes.
At 10 minutes?
In 10 minutes.
Good God.
And it was very early in my trading career. That was a lot of money to me.
Oh, wow. Well, I was going to ask you what was your... I thought maybe you'd be pretty excited about this new milk they're coming out with.
Why would I be excited about the new milk they're coming out with?
Well, the one that's going to be using, instead of... they'll take out some of the fat from the milk, and they're using oat flour. And it's like some sort of oat flour.
It's not the way I trade. It makes no difference to me what the actual product is because I strictly trade on what are referred to as technicals. I pay no attention to the fundamentals whatsoever. I'm a very short-term trader, and it makes no difference to me what the product is.
Well, anyhow, congratulations on your slot in the morning. And I've gotten to the point now where I even listen to their show in the morning, right? And then right after your bit's over, I go back to the other guys, the crazy Looney Tunes from the station you left. But anyhow, I just thought, from all those people out there who have this so-called rivalry between you and the other host, Bobby's got a place and you guys don't.
That's right, yes. Okay, dude. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
David Fowler, God.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Great idea. That's fabulous. Exactly.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I wondered if you could help me. I've got these warts all over my ass and genitalia, and it's killing me.
Not soon enough. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, how you doing?
Excellent.
What was I going to ask?
How the hell would I know? I'm not Gary Spivey.
Oh, that's pretty good, Lassiter. Listen, I got a question in general. Okay, you're talking about home buying, all right? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what does somebody do if they have bad...
Was that Bubba? Was that Bubba trying to get naughty words on my show?
I am the master.
990 WFLA in Hillsborough, in Pinellas 461 WFLA. The GTE MobileNet star line 970 star. The Delaware Savings toll-free line, 1-800-969-WFLA. I think that was Bubba trying to say naughty words and make the J-Corps sisters cry. To the time. By the way, just a word to the young lads out there, you know, the ones who have yet to know women and try to call up and talk dirty on the radio. I'm not trying to discourage you from doing it. It's just that you make fools of yourselves. But see, you guys, of course, unless you're on hold, you don't hear what we dump. But these poor lads, it doesn't make any difference how quickly you talk. That has nothing whatsoever to do with it, because they call up and they say, let's see, how shall I do this?
F you.
Oh, well, okay. Except even faster, thinking foolishly that the faster they talk, the greater their likelihood of getting it out on the air. Doesn't make any difference. You can sit there and spell it if you want to. That's not how it works. But I understand. I once, didn't know women. And by this time on a Friday night, had rubbed myself raw and could do nothing else other than make calls to the guy on the radio. I understand. WFLA's John Grayson will be hosting Psycho Sunday as part of the Tampa Tribune's Summer Classic Movie Series at the Tampa Theater. Almost got it that time. Don't miss Psycho or the movie. Sunday afternoon at 3 at the Tampa Theater on Franklin Street in downtown Tampa.
That was almost right.
Yes, it was. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Mark Larson, the #1 rated talk show host in Tampa Bay, according to the Sunset Beach Gazette, the Sun City Courier, and the Gulfport Gabber, all out of business. See ya.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, have you ever seen a grown man naked before?
Yes, I have, and I don't want to see you. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob?
Yes.
This is Bob?
Yes.
Listen, can I ask you a question?
I don't know.
I think I can. What do you think of Jack Kemp?
What do you mean, what do I think of Jack Kemp? In terms of what?
Bob Dole.
In terms of Bob Dole?
Is it going to help?
No, nothing will help.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Bob Dole's just gone, written off, zero.
Yes.
Oh. What do you think of Clinton?
Not much.
Oh. So who are you going to vote for?
Clinton.
Oh. What about Perot?
Give me a break. You're on the air at 970 what a tragedy. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob?
Yes.
God.
What a tragedy. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Bob? Yes.
God, I love the ones that then rush back to hear themselves on the radio like it's the biggest thrill in the whole wide world. It ain't that big a deal, dude. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, I have a suggestion for all those young lads that can't get women. Try a dead woman. They lie nice and still.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
How you doing? I'm
Excellent.
going to Chicago pretty soon. I heard you going up there.
No, I'm not going to Chicago, sir.
No, I know that. You lived up there for a while.
That's correct.
How was it?
Very nice. I could afford it.
It was pretty expensive?
Sure.
It's a lot different from here?
Yes.
Well, I was just curious about it because we're going to be going up next week.
Okay, well, now you know. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Damn, Bubba, he's always trying to kiss up to me. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Well, apparently Chase has completely run out of naval wind, hasn't he?
You're on the air at 970 WFLA. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I am a lineman of the county. Woof, woof, woof.
Doesn't take much to amuse some of them. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Michael Reagan put you to shame, pal. You know that? You understand me?
sir, if only I could be Michael Reagan.
So did John Catalano. He put you to shame. He got more calls than you do.
Yeah.
And look at you. You're sitting there begging and no-screen calling just so you can get calls.
Yeah.
You're pathetic. You only know 3 subjects: religion, blacks, and the minimum wage.
Yeah.
And welfare.
Oh,
that's all you know how to talk about. It's the same old, same old, same old. Why don't you get all this money, you're always bragging on, why don't you retire and go away and leave us alone?
Sir.
We're tired of you.
Sir, I'm not troubling you. You're the one who tunes me in.
I want Michael Reagan on it this time, not your fat ass.
Well, you got my fat ass.
Yeah, that Sue Tricus needs her head examined. So does that redheaded creep there. What's his name? Gabe Bob, whatever his name is. And Reinhardt. What a bunch of creeps, They don't even know how to run a radio station. He's got the #1 nighttime rated talk show at night.
That's right,
Reagan.
sir.
And they put you
sir.
on. Yes,
no, sir.
does.
No, I am the top rated talk show.
You're nothing.
Sorry, sir. It's true.
You have 1. Michael Reagan's got close to 300. You're nobody, Bob. Just go away.
Sir.
We're tired of you.
Have you ever heard of Pocatello, Idaho?
Yeah, go to hell.
It's the 175th market. That means 125 of Reagan's stations are in markets smaller than Pocatello. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
This is the funniest show.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hit me. I've been hypnotized.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I'd like to talk to you longer, Lassiter, but I have a date with Spencer, and he has the Vaseline. Thank you.
Guess it's our lucky night. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob, do you think there's any difference between the Duma, the Parliament, and Congress?
No. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I am the king of the mole crickets, and I will send forth a plague of mole crickets to consume every blade of your St. Augustine grass. Ha 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 ha.
That's not nice.
Be caller 9 and you're headed to the USF Sundome September 8th to catch Styx on tour for the first time in 13 years, along with special guest Kansas, Hillsboro 990, Pinellas 461-9466.
Much time on my hands.
Win them before you can buy them. From 970 WFLA.
28 minutes away from the hour of 10 o'clock. Or only 11 hours. It doesn't work, dude. It just doesn't work that way, you silly little goose. God. Why don't you get yourself a jar of Vaseline, Maybe you can, kind of overcome that rawness problem and won't have to trouble us here. 990 WFLA Hillsboro, 461 WFLA Pinellas. The GTE MobileNet Starline, 970 Star. The Delaware Savings toll-free line, 1-800-969-WFLA. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you giving away tickets?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing?
Fine.
I'd like to speak to Bob.
Yeah.
Is this Bob?
Yeah.
How you doing? My name is Brian. I've just been listening to you for about the last hour or so. I'm away from Fort Myers, and you are overly talented for your audience, I have to say. I think the best thing you can do is probably get yourself some tapes and head up to New York, where you might get some more intelligent listeners.
I have no desire to go to New York.
No?
No.
Well, maybe they can simulcast you up there or something. You can talk to some more intelligent people. And as far as the guy with the computer problem, just tell him to get himself a Mac.
Sir?
Yes.
How would you know what an intelligent caller is? You haven't said anything yet during your call except to bitch about other people.
I'm just listening. I can tell just listening to people that...
Well, they're just listening too, sir. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bring back Jack Ellery.
God, he's been around for a long time. I thought we had, kind of turned over some of the audience. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Mom is I've been stealing your babies, gag batting, and maybe I'll suck out his brain. Dead kids, they make me feel almost hard. Go get one from the schoolyard. He bled like a stuck pig.
You're on the air, 970 WFLA.
What's up, God? What's up, God?
You're on the air, 970 WFLA. Yourself. You're on the air, 970 WFLA. Hello. Once, twice. Bye. You're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hi, Bob. You know, people don't realize how hard it is to be you. Years ago, I used to think I could call you up and argue with you about all kinds of political issues. You know, I had to read like 2 or 3 newspapers a day, stuff like that. I gave up. I'm giving up. But today I'd like to call you about stuff that I think is important, really important. Do you think that the Pittsburgh Pirates of the early 1960s could have beat any of the teams today?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Oh, sure.
I mean, you know, they kicked up the Yankees back in, what was 62, 63 in the series?
They were real men that played the game back then.
Real men. And they played for like, you know, $12,500 a year.
They played for honor and pride and dignity.
Could anybody have beat those guys?
Well, sure, somebody could have, but none of the teams today.
Well, maybe...
Bunch of wusses and wimps, far more concerned with, if their gold jewelry is being properly displayed. Nah.
Yeah.
Wusses, wimps.
This is why I say you are a real American, Bob.
That's right. Pops would have kicked ass with any of those guys.
You got it. You know baseball.
That's right.
You are a real American.
I know baseball.
God bless you, Bob.
God bless you, sir. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Well, apparently in South Pasadena, they haven't figured out the fact that Vaseline stains your underwear and leaves blisters, whereas KY doesn't.
Why don't you guys just call each other and, leave us middlemen out of it? You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Frog, hell no, you ain't fat. Pork, pig, slob, hell no, you ain't fat. Goodbye.
You're on there at 970 WFLA.
Man, Bob, I can't really understand why you're answering cold calls. This is ridiculous.
What's your problem, dude?
Oh, it's not my problem. I'm the computer guy I called a while ago, and I wanted to thank you for your advice.
Once a night, sir. You're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Excellent.
I just wanted to talk to you about something the guy called before the top of the last hour about he's making, I don't know, 50, 60 grand a year, and him and his wife and whatnot. And I just don't really understand these people that think that who they vote for president is really going to affect their life or is really going to change their life. I'm in my early 30s.
It's not going to change your life overnight, but if you continue to vote for the type of people who allow corporate America to run rampant, it's going to continue to make your life more miserable. If you start voting for people who will demand corporate responsibility in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, you'll see the difference.
I understand that, and I believe that, but which of the two candidates is going to do that?
Neither, but one's a little bit better than the other. Well, one's only likely to let them clean off some of the shelves. The other one's likely to let them steal the store.
Yeah, that's true, but I just can't understand why people, put so much faith into a presidential candidate that, in my opinion, isn't going to change, anything for you. If you want something to change, you got to get up and do it yourself, or at least work at it. I know you can't personally change everything, and nobody can, but, you just got to try and work your hardest and do your best. I am, early 30s. I have 2 kids and a wife that stays home, does not work. I have a daughter that's 4 months old and a daughter that's 2. I make $10 an hour, okay? I own 2 cars. I own a house, the bank and I. Never late with my bills. We have money to save, have money to go out with. You know, I don't think life is that bad, you know, but I'm always looking up, and I'm always trying to do a little better. You know, I'm not sitting here waiting for somebody to hand me something to make my life better, you know, because I don't care which political party you believe in, neither one of them is going to do it for you, you know, no matter what they say. So, you know, just everybody out there, you know, try and you know, believe what you want to believe, but you're not going to get anywhere unless you help yourself.
I think most people do, sir. I think that you really disparage the vast majority of Americans by suggesting they're standing around waiting for somebody to give them something. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Oh, gracious, good afternoon.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I forgot that Michael Reagan liked KY.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Here I will find...
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I heard there are potatoes living on Mars. Is that true?
No, man. They live in Hillsborough County. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Oh, guess where she was calling from, by the way. Also, I'm going to tell you, you're wasting your time. If you want to waste your time, you go right ahead, but you're wasting your time if you're trying to play recorded material. You're going to get hung up on immediately. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
We got a deli. We've got a bus. We've got a lot of people throwing rocks at us there. We've got a tour lined up. We've got a show. I got a midget following me around everywhere I go now. He says his name is Joe now. I really just don't know now.
Sir, there's a water shortage. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing? This
Excellent.
Charles. How you doing?
Excellent.
Okay, I'm not a real frequent caller here. Maybe years ago I did before Lassiter left years ago, but I just wanted to just give a little tip of a few conversations of certain items that I've been sitting here all day, not all day, but the evening time listening to them, and it's been very sporadic. I don't know, is this an open conversation for any topic, or is it a topic situation? Or?
It's a topic situation, sir. You're on the air at 970 WFLA, and you're off topic. Yes.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If I had a brick, I'd throw it at you.
Brick. That's what he said, brick. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
Excellent.
Hey, Bob, I tuned in there was a few calls ago, and you were saying, I'd heard a caller say congratulations. Are you going to a different time slot?
Yeah.
Which one?
Moving to Cincinnati.
You're moving out of Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's going to be a bummer. Well, we'll take care, okay?
Okay. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, what's up, Bob?
Not much.
Hey, listen, you think Al should look the other way when...
Well, at least he slowed down this time. He did listen to us at least that much. 990 WFLA in Hillsborough, 990 WFLA. In Pinellas, 461 WFLA, 461 WFLA. The GTE Mobile Starline, 970 Star. The Delaware Savings toll-free line, 1-800-969-WFLA. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Found by wild dingoes and outback they lived in. His parents have been murdered. Now dingoes are his kin.
Get a life. Forget Dingo Boy. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
We want Sharon. We want Sharon. We want Sharon. We want Sharon. We want Sharon.
It's not going to work, Mother Taylor. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Oh, I think your loyal listeners are really messing with you, Bob. I'm sorry, but I think you have a great show most of the time, and I am the computer guy again.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Computer guy's becoming as bad as gate guy last week, although they might be one of the same.
Sounds like a pretty big milkshake.
Yeah, it does. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Chase, I'm the guy who pulled a plug on your father. Now with the stadium.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
Fine, thank you for asking. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hello, this is Iris calling.
Oh, Jesus, pathetic. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I'm calling for speak to Bob.
Yeah?
Oh, you're okay. You're Bob?
I'm Bob.
Okay, great. Hey, the reason I'm calling
Yes, it is great.
Okay, after the presidential election is over with and Clinton wins, everybody that votes for Clinton going to find out, what a dictator that Clinton is. This is going to be the last election of America. This is the end of America when Clinton gets elected this year.
No, sir, the end of America is when your generation takes over. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
How you doing, Bob?
Fine, thank you.
Best thing ever happened to Canada was the United States.
No, I think you said Canada. It is a place where we get rid of that funny money. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Good evening, Mr. Lassiter.
Good evening.
Quick thing I want to talk to you about real quick. A couple of things. Hello?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, the first thing is your squeak toy. I found a better one. Listen to this, baby. Beat that.
Don't even try. Don't even
try. Gotta go to
try.
Bed Bath & Beyond, baby. Bed Bath & Beyond have found this.
You got ripped off.
You've got to be kidding. This is a giggle ball, man.
This is a manly squeak toy.
Hey, this squeak toy's got attitude. The other thing I was going to say was about your alien topic the other night. There's an alien walking among us. And you know who it is? Bob?
Yes?
That's Greta. Frog.
Punk.
When the going gets weird.
What about you?
What about me?
Number of orgasms recorded in 1 hour.
The weird call Brian.
10.
In an hour?
Yeah.
What are you doing right now?
Brian James.
What I'm doing is thinking about your conversation last night.
Yes.
I'm like totally hot for you anyway, and
I've got some butterscotch topping.
Weekdays at 4 on 970 WFLA.
let's heat it up and set a new record, shall we? Oh, Brian.
Frightening.
Join 970 WFLA's Bob Lassiter Saturday from 3 to 4 at the new Winn-Dixie Marketplace and Food Pavilion on Gandy Boulevard, South Tampa. Register to win a brand new 1997 Ford Escort wagon or $100 gift certificates. Just be there for the drawing Saturday at 4 p.m. to find out if you'll be a finalist to win the brand new car. The grand opening of the Winn-Dixie Marketplace on Gandy Boulevard, South Tampa.
Detriment to the show, but there are times when you're really very, very helpful. Flounder just suggested that I do something that I was going to have to stay and do after the gig, so let me take care of this promo. It's time for the 5th Annual Gourmet Festival and Silent Auction benefiting the Center for Women. That's Tuesday evening at the Hyatt Regency downtown. You can meet 970 WFLA's Larson, sample some of the best food in Tampa Bay, too. So for ticket information, call 251-8437. It's brought to you by WTSP Channel 10, the Tampa Tribune, and, of course, your favorite radio station and mine, 970 WFLA. Oh, I thought it was Bubba's station. Okay, I've got to cut these 2 spots. You see, I've already cut these 2 spots, but the giddy salesperson forgot to, put in the phone number. And so at the last minute today, she says, just cut them exactly like you did before. Just add the phone number, which, first of all, means I have to take out about 7 seconds worth of something else to add the phone number. Oh, salespeople. At least it's not the one that has the snakes in her bra.
Just watch your time.
Hi, Bob Lassiter 4. No, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Hi, this is Bob Lassiter, the area's foremost expert on fruit trees. Well, okay, so I'm not, but I do know everything I need to know. I know Florida Tropics. Florida Tropics is the area's largest exotic fruit tree retailer. Florida Tropics carries over 200 varieties of exotic trees, over 20 varieties of mangoes alone. Florida Tropics not only will sell you the best quality exotic fruit tree, They'll even come to your house and plant it for you. They'll make sure that they advise you exactly how to care for your new purchase to ensure the best and most favorable fruit ever. And Florida Tropics is always available for consultation to answer your questions about tropical fruit trees and other plants. And of course, there's never any charge for that. Florida Tropics, they're so easy to find, so convenient. They're located on US 19, a mile north of the Countryside Mall, directly behind the Pottery and Statuary Place. Their hours, Tuesday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5. Florida Tropics, 979-4572. How was that?
That was 58 seconds. Perfect.
Okay.
No wonder they call you magnificent.
Yeah, it really is. Got to do one more of these. Hold on, gang. Okay. All right, so now you live in Florida, and now you can have those exotic fruit trees that you always dreamed about, like, orange trees and grapefruit trees. You can have a lot more. Sugar apples, figs, Jamaican cherries, the star fruit tree, the allspice, the bay leaf. Where? Florida Tropics, the area's largest exotic fruit tree retailer. Florida Tropics carries over 200 varieties of exotic trees, over 20 varieties of mangoes alone. And at Florida Tropics, you get a 1-year guarantee. Florida Tropics will guarantee your tree for 1 full year against non-weather-related disease or damage. So that means if you have a problem with a tree that you purchased at Florida Tropics, they'll replace it for free if they can't correct the problem. Florida Tropics, they're always available for consultation to answer your questions about tropical fruit trees or other plants. Florida Tropics, 979-4572. They're easy to find, very convenient. Located on US 19, 1 mile north of the Countryside Mall, directly behind the Pottery and Statuary Place. Florida Tropics. I know it ran 2 seconds over, but the other one was 2 seconds shy.
Actually, 4 seconds over, but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah, it's close enough. Close enough for rock and roll. Hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, can I speak with Bob?
No. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, when do those tickets go on sale?
I don't know, sir. I don't sell tickets.
Okay.
Okay. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
C. Bolton will not live much longer.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
This is Samantha.
Hi, Samantha. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, I had a couple of questions.
Yeah?
I'm not one of your normal crank callers. I listen to your show periodically. I can say that sometimes I like it, but for the most part I don't like it. But I'm really curious. I was listening to it tonight on the way coming home, and all of your crank callers that called in, why do you leave them on so long?
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob, just want to get a kind of like a psychological profile on you here. Do you like McDonald's fries or Burger King fries? And what's your favorite cartoon character?
Neither, and I don't have one.
You're kidding.
No.
You don't watch cartoons and you don't eat French fries.
Well, I eat them. You asked me which one I liked. I don't care for either of them.
Oh, you just kind of just put them down your throat, huh?
And Checkers has the best. Checkers has the best French fries.
Actually, they do. I didn't think of Checkers. Man. Have a good evening and a nice weekend, sir.
You too. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the question, and I noticed that both of you, Flounder and you, start complimenting each other. I just wanted to know, now that you're leaving, what compliments and things could you say that would indicate how, certain key things, certain key areas each other has been negligent about in the past?
I'm not leaving. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Oh, she's back!
Sure, that's not just some guy shaving.
No. This is a hot chick with one of them vibrator things. We'll check back with her a little bit later. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Can I get an autographed picture of Bubba?
Yeah. You're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello. Once, twice. Bye. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Dr. Paul Bearer?
Oh, Jesus. That was lame last week. It's lamer this. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bobby boy, how you doing?
Fine.
All right, that's great. Look, how you doing? I really don't care. Why don't you give me a show on there? Huh? Come on, shoot. Give me a title. Shoot. Give me the show. Look, you're making my kid cry over here.
I don't think I'm the one that's making your kid cry. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, let me speak to Brett Ware.
You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob, you know why you're the best? Because in my travels today, I started with Yak and Ted, went on to Neil, Randy Rhodes, Love Doctors, Larson. No competition.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
You're on the air 970 WFLA. God, I hate when they run right back to the radio to listen to themselves. Jesus. God, I hate when they run right back to the radio to listen to themselves. You're on the air 970 WFLA. Battery's starting to run down.
Oh, we know it's not Renee. Hers is gas-powered.
I thought it was diesel. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, what's your deal with the Generation Xers?
What is my deal with the Generation Xers?
Yeah.
Hopelessly unimaginative generation.
That guy came on earlier and...
Hopelessly unimaginative generation of thieves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, man, we got guys in this nation that are going to rule in this nation right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to take care of this nation. They're going to be taking care of you guys.
Yeah, could you name one of them?
What?
Name one of them.
There's one me.
Oh, you.
Yeah. I'm going to take care of this nation. And, you know, there are going to be screw-ups in this nation. You know what? But they're going to be screw-ups that listen to you, man. The ones that think that you're king and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're listening.
What?
I said you're listening.
I turn on the radio trying to find some intelligent conversation. Trying to find some real stuff, and then I find this.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Oh, you're the one that stopped and called.
What? What?
You heard what I said.
No, I didn't. That's why I asked you what.
No, you always say what when you're buying time, trying to buy time, to think of something to say.
No, I didn't hear what you said. If you tell me what you said, then I'll talk to you.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, babe. First-time caller. How about them Cowboys?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Suzalenko or Marty Tucker?
God, I hate football people. Suzalenko, sir. There's no, come on, give me a break.
Lisa Ferranda.
Okay,
Suzalenko.
Lisa Ferranda.
Suzalenko.
Lisa Ferranda, God damn it.
He's a detriment. You still there? Oh, he's gone. That doesn't work either, sir. I mean, give me a break. Oh, I don't know. What the hell are we going to do with these phones, man? This cannot go on this way. We need some help here. Chaplain? Oh, great. Thanks a lot, Flounder.
Right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. For thine is the kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. One nation, under God, liberty, justice for all.
Amen. You could mess up a wet dream, Flounder, I swear.
It wasn't me.
What do you mean it wasn't you? You didn't have the thing turned on.
It was on. It was the friggin' cart machines.
Oh, yeah, sure. Blame it on the cart machines that our crack engineering staff works on every single day to make sure that they're ready to go. Oh, by the way, the show's over.
He looks at the issues the way a tiger eyes a T-bone. Rush Limbaugh, weekdays from 1 till 4.
News Radio 970 WFLA, Tampa Bay.
The job he does. I have no desire to see Mr. Lassiter taken off the air because the unfortunate people who are into abuse would have nowhere to vent their anger. But I do wish you would now give WPLP the same courtesy. Do we have the letter writer on the telephone? Which line is it? Line 8? Okay. The letter writer is, how do you say that first name? Is that Marcia? Marcia, okay. Marcia Tillman of Seminole. Marcia.
Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Bob Lassiter.
Bob, you left something out when you were reading that. I said, someone who will not scream street epithets. You left that bit out.
Oh,
otherwise,
okay.
you were very correct.
I see.
May I help you? I believe you wanted to call me.
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, I did. First of all, I'd like to know who you know over at WPLP.
Who I know.
Yes. Which member of management do you know over there that would prompt you to say that PLP is a station that believes in the values that this country was founded on? How do you know that, and how do you know that this station doesn't?
I just go by the way they talk. I'm just a listener. I don't know anyone particularly.
Well, what were some of those values that they believe in that this station doesn't?
I feel that when people call up from time to time and stress values, they don't scream at them and call them morons and things of that nature.
Well, what about when people say moronic things? You mean the good folks over at PLP just let moronic things go out over the air as truth? Is that what you're saying?
I find it's a very nice station to listen to. I listen to...
In other words, you enjoy hearing moronic things being said on the air unchallenged.
I think you're the last person in the world that should talk that way, Mr. Lassiter, because your program is...
Well, let me see if I understand this correct. You believe in the values this country was founded upon, and yet you would censor someone.
I don't censor. I'm not...
Well, you just got finished telling me I shouldn't say what I say.
I'm not censoring you. I simply
I know you're not, but you'd love to.
When a blind lady calls you and tells you she has only the radio to listen to, and she expects somebody to say something nice, you say, "What do you want, you old bag? You want a medal?" I think that's pretty nice.
I don't believe I've ever asked anyone if they want a medal, my dear.
Yes, you did. One night, that's exactly the first time I heard you say it, and I thought, now, he didn't have to. I realize ratings are very important to you, and I also realize that this is the way you get your jollies. But to be honest with you, Mr. Lassiter,
No, actually, it's not how I get my jollies. If you would like to discuss how I get my jollies, I'd be thrilled to discuss that with you.
Well,
But it doesn't really have anything to do with talking to a microphone.
What did you actually call me about?
What did I call you about the letter that you wrote to the editor?
Did it touch a nerve?
No, not at all. I just found it rather interesting.
Did it just hurt your ego?
No.
Well, what did it do?
What did it do? I just found it rather interesting. I wanted to talk with someone who was, obviously able to write about 300 words with a crayon.
Oh, I see. Well, you see, it just so happens that there's one little difference between you and I. I earned my citizenship, and I have actually...
What about, do you want a medal or something, lady?
Yes, I
What do you mean you earned your citizenship? What kind of a statement is that?
I'll tell you. I'll be glad to tell you. I worked for the Office of Scientific Research and Development, which was attached to the OSS during World War II, and I did get a medal. Okay?
Great. Glad to hear it.
And I got citizenship in 28 days. And I think I earned the right to take care of this country. And I love this country.
Well, you see, I was born in this country, and I think I have a right to be here, too.
But in all fairness, if your mother had been on a bus and she was in some other country, you would have been born somewhere else, wouldn't you?
Yes, just like you were, I guess.
You were just lucky. You were born here. And I earned the right to be here.
I see. So your citizenship counts more than mine or anyone else who was just lucky enough to be born here.
Well, I just feel that the way you talk about this country, you should be downright ashamed of yourself, because this is a wonderful country. And
I believe I say quite frequently that it is a wonderful country, but I also believe that one of the tenets that this country was established with is that people have the right to criticize when they see something that they think is wrong.
Yes, but Mr.
Apparently not one of the tenets that you're fond of.
But under the circumstances, do you think it's fair to criticize all the time? I have never heard you refer in any way to this country as the wonderful country it is. You call our flag a brag. You call our president the big boy or the big guy.
The big guy, yeah.
And frankly,
beloved leader Ronald
I
Wilson
don't
Reagan.
care which president. I've been living here and living overseas for this country under many presidents, and regardless of whether I have or haven't voted for them, I've always given them the respect that the office is due. And
I give them the respect that they are due.
I think you should be downright ashamed the way you talk about this country.
I should be downright ashamed because I see things that are wrong and I point them out. I see.
Yes, I think so. And so in your society...
I mean, here you are, a woman who ran from her native country. I mean, what a marvelous citizen you were. A woman who ran from her native country, who didn't stay there, who didn't stay in her native country to correct whatever it was that was wrong there, but ran to another country. And you've got the audacity, lady, to tell me
me?
Lassiter, may I explain something to you, please?
Sure.
All right. This is how I ran from my country. I was working for the American Embassy. I was English, and I was working for the American Embassy in England, and I was asked by the Americans to go with them to France while the war was on, and I did, and that's how I ran from my country. Okay?
Well, you didn't. I assume that you came to this country because there were things in your own country that you didn't like.
No, I did not.
Oh, you loved your country, but you just got up and left because somebody asked you to.
I did not just get up and leave it. I simply worked for the Americans. I love my country, and I love this country.
You love your country so much you don't live there. That's rather interesting.
Not, because it just so happens that I fell in love with an American, and I married him, and I also have 2 children that are Americans.
Well, funny, just a few moments ago you left because your employer asked you to leave.
And I have absolutely no desire to speak to you any further. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. Lassiter.
Well, I can well understand why you wouldn't have any desire to speak with me further, Marcia, because you're getting your story a little bit mixed up. But, hey, that's okay, darling. It was a delight talking with you. I love speaking with morons. Back to the phones we go. Mary in St. Pete. Hi, Mary. You're on air, WFLA.
God, I almost joined the Subhuman Pig Club there.
Oh, whoops.
No, I really did. I guess that's far off the track here. Anyway, I guess, should I go back to the original subject? Yeah.
Anything, Mary. I'm easy to get along with. I'm in a great mood
I know.
today.
I love you. I called you 3 or 4 times. You've been nothing but intelligent and polite. I don't want to read your image, so I won't say that anymore. But anyway, we were talking about between the Bible and the Constitution, you know, which one would you rather have taught? You know, the one point, I guess, that I feel is important, I would go with the Constitution, but if there was a class that was given on the Bible, the Quran, teachings of Buddha, teachings of Muhammad, teachings of whoever, Hare Krishna, Moon, whomever, if we could give a year-long course for students, even from the grade 1 all the way up, on all the religions of the world. You know, when the Americans came here, or, quote, the Pilgrims for, quote, religious freedom, which I'm not sure if that happened anyway. I think they were prisoners sent here to settle down the land because they were hardy. But anyway, if that's the case, you know, the first religion in the United States of America was not theirs. It was the American Indians' religion. And whomever else was there at that time. So, first of all, they brought their religion here. Second of all, they're not, you know, the primary religion. It's just like if a group of Baptist fundamentalists went to Iran and had their children have to learn the Quran as a form of religion in their school. They would be upset by that. I mean, I would be upset by that if I was a Jewish person or a Buddhist or anything other than, you know, Baptist fundamentalist.
Well, frankly, virtually anyone who would refer to him or herself as a Christian should be upset by the prospect of the Bible being taught, because if you gather up 50 Christians, you'll get 50 different interpretations. Which one are we going to go with?
Well, you understand what I was trying to say.
Sure do.
You know, if they take their kids overseas, see, I was raised overseas and as a military brat, and, you know, nobody espoused their religion on me or their political beliefs. There was an American school there, and I learned. And another thing that makes me upset is I'm 26. I just turned 26. And a lot
Happy
of
birthday.
Pardon?
Happy birthday.
That's right. I talked to you on my birthday.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, I'm 26 years old, and as far as I was growing up, I was never taught the Bible. But I went on from there to learn. I'm a Catholic. I learned the Bible from, in my religion. I studied the Jewish faith with Jewish people, and I went on to study the Bible with the Baptists. I was broad-minded enough to venture forth into my own belief and look at other religions. And I think other religions are important. And I think we'd have a lot more tolerance, and I think we'd have a lot less fundamentalist right-wingers if young children are exposed to many religions, even as a history class or a religion, a theology class. If, you could teach every single of one of the mainstream type religions, the Quran and Judaism, Catholicism, Baptist, Methodist, Anabaptist, whomever. And I think that could give us a real good understanding and broad perspective and let children say, wow, there's such a diverse world out there. There's such a diverse, theory and religion and God and gods and many gods and one God. and let them make up their own mind. You know, if they're with right-wing fundamentalist Christian parents, more than likely the kid will be that way until, you know, whatever age he is, and he'll be able to part or continue.
Well, you see, that's what it really all boils down to, is that this particular group of people, these fundamentalists, they just do not want parents to have the right to decide what religious foundation or training their children will receive. They don't trust parents enough to be able to do it, so they want to do it in the schools and take away from the parents that right to either teach or not teach the Bible. They just want to, you know, they think the parents should have the right as to whether or not a child learns new math or old math. You know, hey, that's a fundamental right that a parent has. But when it comes to religion, no, I want to teach your kid my religion.
Yeah, see,
that's what it comes down to.
That's, you know, absolutely ridiculous. And considering that, you know, the Baptist religion is it's a brand new religion compared to, you know, Buddhism and everything else. You know, 200 years ago they created their religion, and now it's the religion, and, you know, God and everything else. Forget the Jews who were there first, and the Egyptians and Zoroastrianism and all the other interesting and beautiful and inherently intelligent religions. You got to deny your children that, because one day maybe Johnny or Susie will grow up and say, gee, I would love to become a Jew, or I would love to become a Muslim. You know, it's ridiculous. It's denying everything God has created. If you believe in Jesus, you believe in God, and you're a fundamentalist, that's fine. But, you know, you're denying everybody else.
Well, again, we come down to a situation where a public school teacher would be put into an incredibly awkward situation. Again, we're reading from the Holy Scripture in the public school room. And there's little Abby sitting back in the 4th row in the 7th seat. And we get to that part in the New Testament that speaks of that you must be born again to enter the kingdom of heaven. You must believe in Jesus and accept him as your Savior. And little Abby raises his hand and says, but I'm Jewish. Does that mean I'm going to hell? What does the teacher say?
Oh, well, if they're fundamentalists, they'll say yes. Obviously. I mean,
why, it doesn't belong there.
I've sat out at University of South Florida with fundamentalist, I guess they call them hellfire and brimstone people that were screaming and yelling and condemning homosexuals, Catholics, any fundamental religion, homosexuals, blah, 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 to burn in hell. And I mean, they were screaming and yelling, and they were ranting her maybe for an entire week. So little Amy, you know, is on her way to hell in a handbasket, if that's what's going to happen.
Mary, I thank you much.
Okay, good talking to you, Bob.
Good talking to you. Bye-bye. One line open in Pinellas. Let us go next to Rose in St. Pete. Hi, Rose. You're on the air.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good. You know, well, I agree the Constitution is number one, because with the Constitution and after it, we do have the freedom of religion. So we will still have the religion, right?
I would hope, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the deal there, you know, freedom of religion, that's part of that deal. So I think, not to be sacrilegious or anything, because you can still have the religion, but if you want to go the opposite, if you go with Christianity first, it will not, you know, definitely give you democracy secondly. You know what I mean?
I sure do.
On the converse, whatever the opposite, if you flip them both over. Anyway, I told my sister this exact same thing a few years ago. She's real heavy into religion. And I know Christianity is supposed to be shoved down everybody's throat, but I've never done that. And I think religion is private. And I don't know, you know, it bugs me when you kind of pick on Christians, because to me it's only private. And I have never shoved it down anybody's throat.
Well, I firmly believe that it should be private, Rose, and if people would leave it, if the people who push religion would stop pushing it, then I would stop pushing back. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a naive man, but it seems to me that in my lifetime, any other period in my lifetime except the period that we live in today, if a member of the cabinet, if a high-ranking cabinet official had said something to the effect of, we should teach the Bible and not the Constitution in our public schools, there would have been a national outcry for that man's immediate resignation, and there would have been pressure on the president to say, I do not agree. But now, hey, you can say any stupid thing you want, and everybody goes, oh, okay.
Well, our Constitution, like I said, it will let you have your religion. Like in Germany or Russia, they're smuggling Bibles around and all of that. That's strange.
And, of course, the New Testament doesn't let you have your religion. It says there's only one.
Well,
all the others are wrong.
Mr. Lassiter, how, I guess nothing's absolute. The Republican and the Democrats, we all go into the other side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the Christians, yes, we do interpret things. In our democracy, things don't look perfect either. People interpret things in the democracy.
But Rose, the point is you are entitled firmly, and I strongly support your right to believe that your religion is the one true religion. But in a secular nation, and that's what we are, you can't teach that in the public schools. That's wrong.
I know. When I was growing up in California, we used to leave the classroom and go to catechism or whatever denomination you were.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that?
Sure, that's what we used to do, too.
Isn't that weird? I guess they don't do that anymore anywhere. Is that right?
That I couldn't answer.
I know.
Just don't know one way or the other.
We used to do it, though, and I just don't think it's done anymore.
Rose, I thank you very much.
Can I just tell you one thing that gets me mad?
What's that, please,
These
quickly?
conservative people who think they're so intelligent, etc., but if anybody that doesn't like Reagan, they think you're a communist or you don't belong in this country. To me, that's ignorant.
Makes me a little angry too, Rose.
Well, I think that they are ignorant to think that if you don't like your president, that you are a commie or you don't belong in this country. I think that they don't understand democracy.
Thank you, Rose.
Okay, bye.
Good night. Good night. Good afternoon. Good something.
Lassiter.
Thank you, Yvonne. One line open in Pinellas County. The number? 461-WFLA, 461-9352. Richard in Lutz is next. Hi, Richard. You're on the air.
Bob.
Good afternoon.
And as usual...
Or good night, as the case may be.
Either one. It could be early morning, and we're all...
Say good night to that woman. I don't understand.
Oh, the Earth may have flipped. We may actually be in the Southern Hemisphere now.
You have a point.
Okay. And as usual, one of Ronnie's Rangers is ridden forth to protect us from ourselves, or to save us from ourselves, as the case may be. And, I was thinking what you ought to have is before I get on to the Constitution Bible, is a Reagan alert. You had your brain damage snowbird alert. You could get the William Tell overture, and every time one of Ronnie's Rangers makes one of his famous statements, someplace in between, during the course of a show when it's relevant, you could play that with you reading maybe a line or two of the statement and the implications of it, and then we would all know. It would alert somebody that the boys are at it again.
I really don't understand why this is not front-page news. I firmly believe in my heart that had this happened at any other period in my life, there would have been a tremendous outcry, even from the religionists. How dare you say, if you had to choose one or the other, you'd go with the Bible over the Constitution?
Well, I guess it's just because Grandpa Ronnie is just that. He reminds everybody of their amiable grandfather whose leg or lap you sat on, and he told you these marvelous, wonderful fairy tales, and that everything was going to be better, and that not to worry, and about the good old days. That's the only thing I can figure. He's like a security blanket to people who don't want to face reality.
And again, coming from an administration that just went through, for all practical purposes, a constitutional crisis, to literally come out and say, well, we don't really think that the people should have any knowledge of the Constitution. We think that the people should learn about talking snakes.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's why, because they have no idea. Their thoughts on the Constitution are so convoluted that they don't want anybody else to know what the hell is going on, so they can continue to pull the wool over your eyes. See, education's a dangerous thing.
I guess for some people it is.
It is very much. Now to get on to the Bible and what should be taught. First of all, what upsets me is damn little of the Constitution's taught in high school. It really is, unless they've changed curriculum, and I haven't been out all that long. I learned a little bit about Constitution when I was in the 7th grade, and as far as high school subject matter goes, it's almost non-existent. And what little bit is taught, there's no in-depth study. But what I would like to see as far as religion, this was brought up earlier, I'd like to see all the world's religions taught as a comparative course over a 4-year period, and also then explain how these different religions affect political and economic theory in the various regions where they're practiced, and give these kids coming out of high school some idea of what Mr. Quang over in Southeast Asia is thinking, or Farouk in the Middle East, and why he thinks this way and why he reacts to certain situations this way. The biggest problem with what these kids are coming out of school and in our colleges too to a major degree is we react to everything from our perspective. We have no idea of what anybody else's perspective is because we're not taught to study that. And that's one reason that these other countries, such as the Japanese and
well, hell, maybe when you think that you're God's chosen child, there isn't really any need to pay any attention to anybody else.
Well, that's true. We can remember another one of Ronnie's wonderful cabinet appointments, Mr. 5-Watt. He said there's no point to, if you remember, no point to conserve the natural resources because Armageddon's coming.
Thank you, Richard.
Bye.
Be good. A line open at each county, 990-9352 in Hillsborough. 461-9352 in Pinellas. Especially, I mean, in this, the 200th anniversary of the writing of the Constitution. You really got to wonder what guys like Ben and George and Alex and John and all those good guys would have thought a couple of hundred years ago when they were putting this whole thing together. If they had known that some point down the road there would be a government official, a high-ranking presidential appointment, government official approved by the Senate and the Congress and all that kind of good stuff, saying things like, I'd rather the people read the Bible than the Constitution. Diane in East Tampa. Hi, Diane. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Lassiter.
How you doing?
Okay. Not only that, with what you were just saying, I thought we established this country for freedom of all religion, of not being told we had to be any particular thing.
It's rather amazing that many of the men who put together that Constitution didn't believe in the Bible.
Right.
They wouldn't have read it on a bet.
Absolutely. And I agree with your previous caller, because that's exactly what one of the things I was going to say is why not teach, if you must teach religion, I want the Constitution taught over the Bible, but if you absolutely have to teach religion, then please let it be comparative religion. If Christianity is as wonderful and the true religion as they claim it to be, then obviously you'll make the right choice.
Well, the truth should be self-evident, shouldn't it?
Right, absolutely. I had one other humorous thought. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the callers before the news that was so willing to accept the contradictions in the Bible, the inconsistencies, I was wondering if you put it in terms of everyday life. How about if his wife came home at midnight and said, well, I went to the grocery store, dear, and the car wouldn't start, and I had to wait until I could get someone to come out and start it for me, and so forth and so on. And the next day at work, one of his coworkers said, hey, what was your car doing all those hours at the Tip-em-up bar? There's a contradiction for you, right?
Sure is, isn't it?
He's going to choose to believe his wife, possibly, on pure blind faith. And there was a very famous saying, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise.
Thank you, Diane.
Bye-bye.
One line open again in each county, 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas.
Grocery shopping. It's not one of my favorite pastimes. But shopping at Save and Pack is different.
Excuse me, I've never been in the store before. Is everything on sale?
At Save and Pack, it just seems that way. What was I saying? Oh, yes, about shopping not being my favorite way to spend my time.
Olds know that it's wrong to lie, cheat, or judge others by their skin color than to know details of the Constitution.
Well, I think parents would, too.
Unquote.
I think parents would.
Whose morality, sir? Whose morality?
Yes, any parent.
Whose morality do you want taught?
I'm talking about the morality that has existed in this country for 200 years.
Is it wrong to lie? Is it wrong to lie, sir?
No, sure it's wrong to lie.
Oh, then I guess you don't agree with Ronald Reagan's morality then, because he says it's okay. Well, if it's in the nation's best interest.
You're good at putting a twist on things.
No, it's not putting a twist on things.
Sure. You get some little point and you twist it all around to
yeah, what I try to get a hold of, Brian, is the truth.
What all Christians
and twist the truth around deception.
What you don't understand, Bob, is that all Christians will sin, and they have sinned and will sin till the dying day.
Well, isn't that Marvy?
And when you say Ronald Reagan lies, sure he's lied. You've lied. You've admitted lying.
Well, then in other words, you wouldn't want. That's right. Then in other words, you wouldn't want Ronald Reagan's morality taught in the public schools.
Oh, you're so far afield that it's pitiful. It's actually, Bob, I feel for you, buddy. I think that your popularity has reached its height. I think that
I know you've been thinking my popularity has reached its height for 2 years, and I would be gone in a month for 2 years. I know all about it, Brian.
Your public relations man has done you a
I don't have a
job.
PR man, Brian.
Whoever's put all this stuff out for you, because
nobody's put all of this stuff out for me, Brian. They all came to me.
I know, but they would not have all come at one time without some encouragement. You know
I beg your pardon. There was no encouragement, Brian.
Anybody would know that, Bob.
Well, apparently you don't, because there was no encouragement.
If you want some old gray hair wisdom advice, you have reached your apex, buddy, and from here on out, now we may get
keep dreaming, Brian.
You may get up on the first of the year on the ratings, but I'm going to tell you,
keep dreaming, Brian.
You have reached the top.
Well, Brian, just remember one thing. One thing I'd like you to remember, Brian. You followed me from the other station. Bye-bye, Brian. Oh, why do they even try? Darlene in St. Petersburg. Hi, Darlene. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Darlene.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear. You know, Bob, I had a dream about you last night.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right. I dreamed of you as a flower.
As a flower?
Idiot.
A blooming idiot. I see.
No, not really. You know I'm just kidding.
I don't know, Darlene. I talk to all comers.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Oh, really?
I get 27 cents a call.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be darned.
So I put beans in the pot, Darlene.
Well, good for you. And how are they now?
How are they now, the beans?
How are they cooking?
They're adding up.
Oh, are they rising up?
Adding up.
Oh, adding up.
Hoping for 35 cents a call, but...
Oh, yeah?
I have to negotiate
that. You want to buy some light bulbs from me?
Do I want to buy some light bulbs from you? No, nor do I want to send any registered letters.
Oh, I see. Oh, here, I thought maybe you'd buy some from me.
No.
No?
Nah, there was a case of light bulbs over at the other place. I took them when I left.
Oh, I see.
Actually, there were many cases of them.
Oh,
the place was filled with cases of light bulbs.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, I seen that picture in the newspaper, and that's really that's not a bad picture. That's a pretty nice picture of it.
Isn't it marvelous what you can do with an airbrush?
Huh?
It's marvelous what you can do with an airbrush.
Oh, yeah, it's marvelous. Yeah, what you can do with a hairbrush. Yeah.
Airbrush, too, I guess.
Yeah, that's all right. Keep up the good work.
Okay, Darlene, thank you.
To you.
Take care. Two lines open, both in Pinellas, 461-9352. We enjoy our Pinellas callers. 461 WFLA is what keeps us on top. Annie in Palmacia. Hi, Annie. You're on the air at WFLA.
Here, you missed my beans. I didn't bring them down to you. I got the flu.
Oh, well, such is life.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
First of all, Bob.
Yes?
The Constitution of the United States is taught in history classes. That is one of the credits that you have to have for graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Am I not right?
In some school districts,
yeah.
In
Take
some
history,
states.
English, and math. You have to have that to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that is taught when you pick up a history book. That's cut and dry. I mean,
Well, what's the point?
All right. The other point is...
The other point?
Is about religion in school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against it or whatever. I feel that maybe Mr. Reagan, President Reagan, did not use his words the way he should have. I think
wouldn't be the first time.
Meditation for 1 minute, whatever religion you are, does not hurt children in school.
Well, what about if you don't have a religion?
Hey, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall.
Oh, that explains that, yeah.
That's right. If children don't know what to do, then they don't say anything or whatever comes into their mind.
Well, you know, Annie, I know a lot of people, and I don't know anybody. I frankly just don't know anybody that can't find a moment or 10 moments or however many moments they want to meditate on their own.
I agree.
So
But
you see, you don't have to do
are
that.
Burst from their home life. Is this not true?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, you know, you send kids to school, they repeat what adults say, or whatever. I don't think meditation, it didn't hurt me when I went to school. I'm 50, going on 56. I'm sure you did it when you went to school.
Tell us your age.
And I think maybe he did not choose the right words.
Oh, I think he chose the exact words he wanted to use.
Whatever. I think this can be interpreted any way that people want to have it meditated.
I don't really think that you can interpret any other way than what it actually says. And what it actually says is that they would rather have people studying the Bible than the details of the Constitution.
I don't think this ought to be ordered by government.
It's not open to interpretation. It says what it says.
I don't believe this ought to be ruled by our government. I believe it ought to be ruled even by school to school. What a school decides to do and the parents want to do with their children. I don't think the government ought to enter it whatsoever.
So you believe that if a whole lot of parents who believe one way get together and form a majority, then their religion should be taught in that school, even though there are other people in that school.
Their religion, whether it be Lutheran, Catholic, Jewish, or whatever, if the point is a moment of meditation...
What would it accomplish? What
I
good
don't
would it
know,
do?
Bob. It sure
Oh, you want to do something even though you don't know...
School.
Oh, I see, because it wouldn't hurt.
And, you know, I'll tell you what, maybe children would stop and think, well, goodness.
You know, maybe it wouldn't hurt if we gave everybody $100 either, but, you know, what good would it do?
You're putting
Shouldn't do
words
anything.
in my mouth,
No, I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just trying to find out why you want to do something that you don't even know if it would do any good.
Well, do you really? Do you actually have an answer for this?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I think my answer is rather self-evident in the question. What good would it do?
What good won't it do?
So since we agree that we don't know if it will do any good, why do it?
But you don't know whether it won't either.
What I do know is that I object to the public schools and consequently, bottom line, my pocketbook being used to promote religion.
Well,
That's what I
agree
do know.
In that sense, the point.
And what I also know is that anybody who wants to silently pray can find a moment on his or her own time, not my time.
Your pocketbook isn't praying or isn't paying for 60 seconds in school, no more than you pay your taxes on your home and you send your children to school.
Well, you see, if there was a moment of silence every day in a school child's public school education, 12 years, we're talking about 36 hours. I would rather those 36 hours be spent teaching them, how to read, how to write, how to do arithmetic, than a moment of silence because it wouldn't hurt. Well, it wouldn't hurt to spend those 36 hours in constructive education.
Well, did you ever think of it this way, Bob, that maybe when they pledge the allegiance to the flag in school and then have a moment they can get their garbage together and that gives the kids a little bit of calming down before the day starts? Try that on for size.
What do you mean? Let's beat them with a whip, too. That'll calm them down. Calm them down in a real hurry. Crack that whip over their heads. Hey, sit down there, Johnny. Whack.
No. You, Bob, you're a very intelligent person. You know exactly where I'm coming from.
That's exactly right, Annie. Precisely right. David in Tampa, hi, you're on the air, WFLA.
Yes. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to agree with you on the Constitution being taught over the Bible. But the reason that I agree with you is different. I believe that Bible study and prayer is the responsibility of the family.
Couldn't agree more on that.
At home.
At home or in church or any other private place they wish to go.
That's right. But I think that the people that are calling you, that want the Bible taught, they don't really know what God's design is for the world. God does not want His word or Jesus or prayer or anything forced on man. The Bible says that whosoever will, can come to the Father. And, I believe I'm a very committed Christian. I'm a minister in my church. And I believe that, God is the way. Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. And, I believe that with all my heart. But I'm not going to
I respect your belief and I defend it.
Okay, but, the thing about it is, I'm really concerned about your program, I tell you. I used to listen to Paul Gonzalez, and I didn't agree with a lot of things he said, but he approached everything with an objective view, and he didn't try to antagonize people that called in with Christian beliefs and all this. One thing, I'd like to make a deal with you if I could. I won't judge all non-Christians, and I shouldn't use that term because I don't know whether you're a Christian or not. You don't appear to be. But I won't judge all non-Christians by you if you won't judge all Christians by people like Jerry Falwell, Jim Baker.
I'll make a better deal with you.
What's that?
I will never again mention the inconsistencies or the problems that I have with organized religion if you can get all of the organized religion people to stop bringing it out into the street.
Well, that's, unfortunately, you have to listen to them just like I have to. I don't have to listen to you. This is the first time I've ever heard your program.
Well, you see, David, that's the exact point. No, you don't have to listen to me, but there are religious zealots who are trying to inflict their beliefs via the State House into my life. And that's what it boils down to. David, I must run. I've got to take a commercial break. I thank you much for the call. I mean, this is just incredible. According to the last caller, Secretary Bennett is entitled to say whatever he wants to say, but I'm not.
This is Yvonne Payton, WFLA News. Coming up at 2, the U.S. and Soviet Union have begun name-calling. Negotiations are moving ahead at the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, and 2 deckhands of a Tampa Bay shrimp boat face life in prison for murder and mutiny. WFLA's exclusive AccuWeather says lots of sunshine. It's 2 o'clock.
Your news and information leader. 970 WFLA, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. This is the NBC Radio Network. Cameron's
5918900, as the gentleman said. Bensonville. Hi, Benson. You're on the air at WLS.
Don't you ever get tired of Catholic bashing?
No, not Catholic bashing, sir. Don't you ever get tired of,
I don't know what you would ever do if there was ever a day where you couldn't talk about the Catholics.
Don't you ever get tired of Catholic apologizing, sir?
I don't have to apologize.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing right now. That's exactly what you're doing right now, Bozo. Don't you realize that?
You're a jerk.
I'm a jerk. I see. You support pedophiles, and I'm a jerk. You support your church covering up crimes, and I'm a jerk. No, sir, I'm not Catholic bashing. You're Catholic apologizing. That's what it amounts to, sir. And it's what amounts to the entire damn community doing. Catholic apologizing, Baptist apologizing, Episcopalian apologizing. Right on down the line. Right on down the line. Oh, geez, these are clergymen. These are special kind of guys, I don't know. Your own damn kids, for God's sake. Your own damn kids. Constantly. There are reports of this happening. Constantly. And if you did it, if you participated in a cover-up, if you were the one who went and negotiated with the victim and said, well, come on, can't we forget this? Here's $10,000 or $100,000 or $200,000, whatever it's going to take. I mean, gee willikers, the church would really be embarrassed. And good old Pastor so-and-so, he just had a weak moment, Come on, what do you say, huh? Let's not keep this, let's keep this quiet. Let's not let it get into the papers or the police. Oh, it would be so messy. Well, if it was your next door neighbor or your coworker, or your Uncle Joe, and you tried to do the same damn thing. But, hey, guy puts on a black suit. Whoa! Makes everything okay, huh? Oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You really should. As should Father Greeley. He was half right. Yeah, they should show a hell of a lot more concern and compassion toward the victims. But they should also turn in the priests. And so should the Methodists when it's one of their people. And so should the Jews when it's one of their people. It's too damn bad if it's embarrassing. It's a crime. It's too damn bad. I would really hope you'd be ashamed of yourselves. And as for the gentlemen in Bensonville, sir, I'll stop bashing the Catholics when they start behaving themselves. I'll stop bashing the Catholics when they start playing games like this. And I'd be a lot more concerned if I were you, sir, with your church than with me. To a car phone, we go, "Hi, car, you're on the air at WLS."
Hello?
Hi.
Bob?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Fine.
Say, I usually listen to you every day on the way home from work, and you usually just frustrate me. But today you struck a nerve. And I went to a Catholic grade school, and I was on a basketball team. And this has been bothering me for a long time. And I'm glad nobody knows who the hell I am, so I can just tell it, get it off my mind. There were several of us that were molested and taken pictures of in the nude on this basketball, in the locker room and everything. This went on for about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, and I finally quit basketball. But the kids had just kept going, and I know it just kept going on.
Did you ever tell anybody about it?
No, I was always scared to death to tell anybody about it, and once everything started clicking and making sense, I figured out what the hell, I don't go there anymore. It doesn't make any difference. But this first time since...
Cannot put his name on the air because I have no personal knowledge.
Well, okay, I guess his name doesn't need to go on here, but...
No, the point is every time an incident like this takes place, or every time a story like this comes out, what it in essence does, what it ends up doing, is taking kids like you used to be a kid who go through this and saying to them, well, there's nothing that's going to be done about it anyway, I'll just keep quiet. And that's not right.
No.
It's not right. And every time one of the bishops or the cardinals or the presidents partake in a cover-up, they're doing a tremendous disservice to guys like you and kids like you.
Well, it is. It's horrible. And I think that the biggest part of there's a crime that this guy was doing this, but I think the big part of the crime was that somebody else had to know, in order for him to be in that position and to keep on doing it like he was doing it, somebody else had to know. As a matter of fact, this was about 5 years after that the pastor got arrested. He was arrested for gambling and pornography sales and everything. It was just...
Well, the biggest part of the crime is, you can understand the clergyman and you can understand the hierarchy, but the biggest part of the crime is the general public and the guys down at the prosecutor's office. That's the biggest part of the crime.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Because he never, when they arrested him, he was right back there the next day, and then finally they took him out of there. But, he never, to my knowledge, never did any jail time or nothing. He didn't. And it's frustrating.
It is. Thank you, my friend.
You bet.
Be good.
Wishing you the best of the season. This is WLS Chicago Talk Radio 890.
WLS.
Time at the Jingle Bells, 5 o'clock.
Up until not be arrested in the process, because this is what has been heralded now for a couple of weeks on this program. This is known as the Lassiter group. You may recognize that phrase, or think that it's at least vaguely familiar, because it bears a very strong resemblance to the McLaughlin Group, a fine PBS program where, in essence, McLaughlin gets together 4 guys, or sometimes 3 guys and a gal, or sometimes 2 gals and 2 guys, and wrestle, if you will, on television for our amusement on Sunday mornings, and I guess actually on Friday evenings as well. The program is actually done on Friday night, where they talk about the issues of the day and kill each other. Well, we have selected with great care 4 panelists to join the Lassiter group. If it works, we will do it 3 times a week, 4 hours a day, indefinitely. If it doesn't work, we may try it again at some point in 6 weeks and see what happens at that time. But the 4 distinguished Chicagoans are, first of all, in no particular order of importance, on the telephone because she's homesick today and is a real trooper, Carol Ashkenaz. Did I say that right, Carol?
Close enough.
Close enough. Well, how much closer could I get?
Ashkenaz.
Ashkenaz, okay. Carol, the question that everybody around here wanted me to ask you is, why don't you pronounce it Ashkenazi like we do?
Well, I pronounce it the way my parents do.
A reasonable thing. Carol is with the editorial board at the Chicago Sun-Times. Also from the Chicago Sun-Times, Richard Roper. Richard, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Actually, that's pronounced Johnson, but it's spelled Richard.
Pronounced Johnson, okay.
We'll go with Roper.
Mike Conklin from the Chicago Tribune, a sports columnist, and Eric Zorn, also from the Chicago Tribune. Gentlemen, welcome very much. I have friends with my attitude. I had a friend who was a competitor in Tampa even, who was up here, and I really felt bad. They said, geez, have you guys had much snow yet? And I said, well, what you see is about what we've got.
Well, what can I tell you? We're going to have more tonight. Have they driven out of town yet, or are they?
Yeah, they flew out Sunday morning.
All right. But I still can't get over him having friends. Can you imagine them sitting around the old den or living room screaming at each other?
He even picked up the dinner tab. Of course, he makes a lot more money than I do.
Oh, yeah, right. This is somebody from a station that you ran. You put the knife in him down there, and now
no,
he's
I didn't put the
friend?
knife in him down there.
Right, yeah. Can you imagine? Lassiter talks, he beats me like this. Can you imagine what he does to the competition? Good Lord. Anyway, it's going to snow tonight and end tomorrow. Low tonight 15, high tomorrow 19. Right now it's 14 degrees. Along the lake it's 14. I noticed you didn't beat up on those guest reporters.
Well, no, they were fine, dignified journalists.
You know, it's like a family. You abuse the
None of them
spouse.
tried to talk dirty to me. None of them tried to hit on me.
You abuse the spouse, but at work you're real polite at everybody. Now, here you had strangers in the studio. You were nice to them.
I don't abuse my spouse. Why would you say that? Her in-laws. My in-laws, her parents listen to this.
Oh, I meant of a figure of speech. I'm sorry. I was thinking of us. We have a marriage of radio careers here.
I am not married to you. I am happily married to Mary.
And you abuse me constantly, yet strangers come in.
Against the law in the state.
Strangers come in, and he treats them like long-lost friends. A nice job. Real good job, and you got some very insightful points, gentlemen.
They're not strangers. They're columns. It's though I know these people. I read them every day.
Well, you hear me doing the news every day. How about a little respect? Is that too much for us to have some respect for each other here?
I'll give you a little respect.
Here in the studio where we breathe together, where we share mic time. Could we have some respect?
Yeah, we try to share my chair, too.
Right now it's
5 chairs in here, and he always tries to sit in mine.
It's 14 degrees. Along the lake, it's 14. Our next news will be at 7 o'clock with bulletins at 1.
I may need the news a lot sooner than this. I have no calls at all.
No, don't do that.
It's your fault. I had calls before the news started. I had calls.
Yeah, calls before the news started. You had calls before you had 4 uptown friends in that you were nice to for the last hour.
I beg your pardon. Roper's from the south side. The other 3 I don't know about.
Well, whatever. Anyway, he'll get called. Call him. Let's not go through this again. I had to beg for calls for me last time to call the gentleman.
Oh, that was a real prize winner.
Yeah, it blew out the lines. Did you hear the phone company?
Did
you read Sunday's
lines,
papers?
Right, yeah, blew out the lines, huh?
Did you read the Sunday papers?
Yeah, I did read the Sunday paper. I didn't say anything about that.
Lines were all blown out?
Right, 2 old ladies, a redneck, and your daughter.
Well, they were a couple of people that got through, but there were thousands of others who probably couldn't. Let's go back to more. Please call, because he's going to blame me.
Never in my entire career have I heard a newsman begging and pleading, call in support of me, call in support of me.
It didn't work that way. You accused the callers of going away because I was here, and all I happened to say was I imagine some of them might like the news, and with that, the phone lines flooded, and the calls came in.
No, they didn't flood.
I didn't even have to ask for them.
What do you mean you didn't ask for them? You begged for them.
Oh. Well, I think that maybe they'd forget. Give me a break on this. I thought maybe they'd forget that I begged for them. Can you be nice to me?
Well, it is Christmas.
We're going to give gifts. I take a medium.
A medium what?
Sweaters. Pendleton shirt would go down pretty good on a Christmas.
Pendleton shirt?
That'd go down pretty good on a Christmas from my buddy, my Bob Lassiter buddy.
I thought maybe, a bag of potato chips and then a six-pack of beer or something,
cable knits,
you could use.
Something from Eddie Bowers, maybe a parka, down-filled parka.
Eddie Bowers?
Medium down-filled parka.
What kind of money do you think I make?
I know what kind of money you make. I read the Tampa papers. And if you can afford shoes like you got on, his shoes cost more than my first car.
These are... I've got the old JCPenney sneakers on again. I think I paid like $29 for them 7 years ago.
He has shoes that have every feature. What are the Gore-Tex lining, outer shell of polypropylene, all the synthetic fibers. They have retractable grid-type things on the bottom of them.
Don't forget the power windows.
They lace themselves.
Stereo.
You're
supposed to be out of here 5 minutes ago. Eating up my time.
Yeah, you got a lot of calls to get to, too.
Oh, that hurt. Welcome back, Fun Seekers. A Monday, December the 18th, 1989. 1 week away from Christmas Day. Fourth and final hour at WLS Talk Radio 890, Chicago's talk station. I admit to being, I'm paranoid about the audience. I am really, really paranoid, uptight, all those kinds of good words from the 1960s. What I would like to do in this fourth and final hour today is to get some feedback, if you will, on the Lassiter group. If you would like to hear things like that, if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, maybe some of the things that were said. Because I'm just going to level with you people. I don't want to do issues. I mean, it's the week before Christmas. All I want to do is schmooze. Grief. Let me give you the telephone number. 591-8900. 591-8900. Rockford, hi, Rocky. You're on the air at WLS.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
I liked your group. And I like the theme music as well.
I thought it was great music. I don't know what the hell's the matter with these people.
It was great music. Don't worry about it. Their opinion means little. Listen, as far as optimism in the 90s go, I just don't see the optimism being there as long as we have people, the Supreme Court, their conservative tendencies, as long as we have people like Bush, as long as we have residuals from the Reagan administration. I think we're in trouble.
Well, I think there are a couple of things that they're forgetting. First of all, the looming economic disaster with savings and loan bailouts, Social Security bailouts, trade deficits, budget deficits, corporate deficits, corporate bailouts, on and on and on. That's one thing I think they're forgetting that will have a very adverse effect. And there's another thing that they're forgetting. Human nature all throughout this world. There's turmoil and change. And if we think it's not coming here, we're crazy. I don't know in what form, and I don't know what day it's going to arrive, but these are cyclical things that happen all over the world, and they're coming here too.
The economy's not as strong as everybody says. Have you been in the homes of people who are on fixed incomes, people who have a problem making rent? The families that live in industrial towns where their husbands get laid off and they have to relocate just because they can't find work in their town of 1,200. Have
I been in their homes? No, I haven't been in their homes. Do I know that they exist? I sure as hell do.
We have real problems, I think. And, the whole thing about the Reagan era just irritates me, the superficial nature of the entire 80s. I hope the 90s is better. Not that Democrats belong in office, per se, over Republicans, but I just hope that they're fair-minded people who are looking out for the small guy.
Well, that's one of the problems that we have in this country is people tend to think in terms of Democrat, Republican. I don't give a damn. I just want some decent people who have the best interest of this country at heart and who aren't afraid to take an unpopular stand when it's the right stand and who have a little, just a little bit of foresight, who can see beyond the ends of their noses. That's all I would ask for. It's all I would hope for, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, Reagan in the 80s were very cosmetic. Superficial is a good word, but what they did was, everybody knows that Reagan looks for a quick fix. Cosmetic, though, I think really gets it down there. He's the kind that would stick bubble gum in the cracks just so that it would work long enough to impress people, and then boom, when it breaks, floodwaters come tumbling in.
But you did enjoy the theme music.
Pardon me?
You did enjoy the theme music that we used to separate the issues.
The theme music was good. Keep it up. And the group, as long as you have people who are not too fair-minded. We need opinion, like controversy.
Mm-hmm.
That girl was pretty good.
Carol Ashkenaz.
The guys were good, too.
I was very pleased with them. It came off better than I hoped it would.
Are you keeping the same people day after day? You going to ask for new people?
Well, it's not a matter of day after day. I would like to do it again in about 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, I thought you said you were going to try to do it a couple times a week.
Oh, I was only teasing them.
No, you should have
It's a tremendous imposition on them.
No, you should have forms like that. Do you know the people who work the night show, a girl and a guy, it was late last night?
You're talking about, Jenner.
You should know that, Bob.
To tell you the truth, I have never met either of them. But yes, I listened to the show.
That was interesting. They had some real kooks come in last night.
We see it's one of the things that, allow me to be a little bit honest with you. It is one of the things that has thrown me with Chicago talk radio. Apparently the radio that has been done in this market in the past has been a little bit more formal, a little bit more stuffy than I'm used to. Not to put down any of my colleagues or anything, but for example, a pet of the year in Chicago in years past apparently has been kind of a wild and crazy lighthearted show. That's not my idea of wild and crazy lighthearted shows. And I have not yet been able to fully get up to steam in this market doing the kind of talk radio I like to do with, because people seem to be a little bit hesitant to play along with it.
Are we talking about smut?
No, not at all. I'm a prude.
You're a prude?
Yes, I'm a prude.
Well, yeah, that's the writing on the wall.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Your wife's bathroom wall.
I don't know about that. There's no writing on her wall at all. I was in there just this morning. Where the hair dryer is. Thank you, my young friend.
Okay.
591-8900, 591-8900. To the north side we go. Hi there, North. You're on the air at WLS.
How you doing, Bob?
Oh, fair to middling.
My name is Frank. You know, I listen to your show regular in the afternoons.
Uh-huh.
And I think you have an excellent program. Lately, I don't know, it seems like you think your program is not very good. In my opinion, your show is the best one on WLS.
Well, Frank, you're very kind, but my show is totally and completely caller-driven and caller-generated, and the closer you get to Christmas, the tougher it is to get callers, although there's one thing that we have noticed around here that's just, it's mind-boggling. If you want to sit here and do drugs, then you've got tons of calls. None of us want to sit here and do drugs or, pedophile priests. None of us want to really sit here and do that. But what are you going to do?
Well, in my opinion, any show you do is a good show, and I just like to say keep it up.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, we are now down to the point of threatening to dunk the cat in the bucket. If I do not immediately get calls, I will bring Fluffy the cat in here, hold her up by her little tail, and dunk her into a bucket of ice-cold water. I have a little baby, gerbil. Gerbil, that's what it is. Going to bite its head off if I do not immediately get tons and tons of calls. I have a puppy dog. I will cut its tail off and feed it to the gerbil. Oh, that's starting to work. The puppy dogs. Okay. I have 2 puppy dogs. I got enough to go with. St. Charles. Hi, St. You're on the air, WLS.
Hello, Bob. This is Bob from St. Charles. I want to make a comment on the group you had tonight.
Please.
By and large, I liked them, but I was a little surprised at their seeming lack of knowledge in things like the SNL bailout or things like that.
Well, to tell you the truth, that surprised me, too, because when I brought up my points, the 3 guys in the studio, because Carol was homesick, the 3 guys in the studio had looks come over their faces like, oh, geez, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I know that when you do it again, it might be worthwhile if you could let them know, or maybe it's inappropriate, let them know what the topics are going to be.
They did. All of them were notified. 3 of the 4 last Friday. The 4th one not until today because we couldn't get in touch with him. Exactly how the question was going to be asked, no, they were not notified because I didn't write the questions until this morning. But I did come up with the, well, actually there were 10 topics. We never got to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did come up with those last week, and because, that's the only fair thing.
Yeah, I know, but, that was really the only thing I found that was somewhat disappointing about it, was sometimes their answers just seemed totally uninformed.
Well, now, wait a second. These are guys, just like you and me. There are things they know about. There are things they care about. There are things they don't know and care about. And I thought they did a fantastic job. I was surprised at some of the opinions. I was very surprised at some of the opinions. The nativity scene, as an example, across the board, they're all opposed to it. That surprised me. I would have thought at least 1 or 2 of them.
Myself, too. I was a little surprised by that, but I certainly did enjoy their opinions, and I think you should do it again.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 591-8900 to the south side we go. Hi, South. You're on the air, WLS.
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Doing fine.
I enjoyed the music with your Lassiter group.
I think they're crazy. What was the matter with the music?
It was wonderful.
I mean, it's not like it was something we were sending them home with to listen to. I mean, it's just a 30-second piece of production music that was, kind of upbeat, a little bit driving, very similar to what McLaughlin uses.
Well, I agreed with it. I've talked to you before, but as I said, you're correct. It is a week before Christmas, and I want to wish you, your family, and Johnson, everyone, happy holidays and happy Hanukkah.
Johnson, too?
Yes. Johnson's a long head, but he's hilarious.
Yes, he is. He's very funny. Too funny.
And again, you have not lived in a cold climate in a long time. But what's going to happen is when spring comes, when the boats come out on the lake, it will be so wonderful. You'll forget how awful this is.
Oh, I'm not saying it's awful. I'm enjoying this.
Oh, God, it's awful. I've been here all my life. I hate winter. After my birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Anyway, it's for every spring, every winter, I swear, I'm going to relocate. But most places that have a warm climate, that's all they have. So we have so much in Chicago, so the pluses outweigh minuses, so I stay.
Oh, I obviously it is new to me, and that's why I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying this immensely. As a matter of fact, I've already upgraded my gloves. Gloves that I bought weren't quite thick enough, so I upgraded the gloves this week. I bought the earmuffs yesterday that I hadn't bought, and I'd walk. Yesterday I walked from my apartment up to do my shopping. It was about a 15-20 minute walk. I didn't mind it at all.
And bundle up really well. One more thing, a tradition in Chicago. Take your wife to Marshall Fields and have lunch in the Walnut Lounge.
Okay.
Okay.
There is one thing, though, that I had not anticipated. My mustache freezes.
Oh, of course it will. If you have a beard, it will freeze.
Well, the beard doesn't freeze. I guess it's the moisture from breathing through the nostrils. That's what's
exactly.
Because that is a little weird to realize that your mustache is frozen.
You'll get accustomed to it.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
591-8900 to the south side it is. Hi, South. You're on the air at WLS.
Hello, Bob. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Are you taking the cold over here?
Am I what, sir?
Are you taking the cold weather?
I'm taking it just as I find it.
Oh, this is terrible. I never forget when I come from India. I was living in 100-degree climate, and I come to Chicago, and I couldn't believe it. I was ready to go back.
Why didn't you?
Oh, I just like the United States better.
Do you drive a cab?
Yes, I do.
I kind of suspected as much.
Oh, yes. Been driving a cab 5 years now.
Do you know your way around the city yet?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Bob, I just called to tell you a nice show, and have a good one.
All right. I was wondering where it was going with that. To a car phone it is. Hi, Car. You're on the air at WLS.
Hi, Bob. I was listening about your mustache. You also have to realize that if you have a scarf put over your face, it'll freeze.
Oh, really? I haven't, it hasn't been that cold and windy yet for me. I haven't, because my wife just knitted me the most gorgeous scarf you've ever seen, and I feel bad because I haven't used it yet.
Got to get a couple of them to get the snot on it.
Well, maybe you do, sir, but I don't do things like that.
Another thing I was thinking was, I think it might be kind of fun if you had some callers that were, like you had the forum kind of idea. You had like some
callers that you found interesting to have them on a forum like that.
Well, the funny thing is that funny that you should mention that, because the first time I did the Lassiter group was in Tampa, and I did it with callers. However, the reason we didn't do it this time is I don't have the same kind of callers as I had in Tampa. There were great characters and great chronic callers who everybody knew. And so therefore we gathered together 4 of those the first time we did the Lassiter group, and it was actually one of the guys ended up replacing me in Tampa. 4 outrageous people. There was Rocky, the rock and roll Klansman, Lionel, who was a Tampa native and a lawyer who sounded like somebody off the streets of the Lower East Side in New York, a woman named Carolyn, who was a genuine limousine liberal, and a 4th guy who called himself Captain Jack, who was just an outrageous diehard conservative, and screaming and shouting and bitching and moaning. But we don't have that type of caller here, or at least not yet. It's one of the things that I was alluding to a few minutes ago, that the callers are fantastic. The smart callers are smarter, the dumb callers are dumber, but we just have yet to develop the characters that add something to the show. But still have a little bit more fun with it. Be a little bit freer. Let your hair down a little bit more, instead of being afraid of what people might think you have to say.
Yeah, that's true. I think so.
It's coming around. I wish, to be honest with you, I wish it would come around faster, because I like to have more fun with it.
Oh, I want to tell you about the Lawnshead City Slicker issue.
Yeah.
I'm currently and have been a lawnhead. However, I'm looking at Chicago because, well, we've had a place up in Chicago that's like a little getaway, and looking on Michigan Avenue and Lakeshore Drive and stuff. It's kind of expensive, but I think it might be a lot of fun.
Well, it is expensive, but one of the things that amazed me about Chicago, in terms of other major cities, the Bostons, the Philadelphias, the New Yorks, I guess even Los Angeles, it's housing is relatively inexpensive in Chicago.
Well,
it's a hell of a lot cheaper than it is in New York and Boston.
Well, the thing that blew my mind is I'm looking through these places, and I feel that I make a pretty good living. I make decent money and all. And I'm thinking, this is really expensive. This is really expensive. But the people that would be my neighbors, I would never expect them to be my neighbors for the prices of the rent and stuff.
Now you've lost me.
Well, I was at one place that was like $800 a month rent.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought, it's up there pretty good.
It's a lot of money, but again, by New York, Boston, Philadelphia standards, it isn't.
But the people that, you'd see these young people come in, these old people, total cross-sections, whites, blacks, Mexicans, everything, and it just didn't, I'm thinking, wow, look at all these people living in this place that, I'm thinking, I don't know if I can.
Well, my building, I'm clearly the oldest person. There are only 4 apartments to a floor in my building, but I'm clearly the oldest person on my floor, and I'm not living with yuppies. These are not stockbrokers and doctors who just happen to be 30 years old. I hadn't the vaguest idea what they do, but, one guy goes out to work in a flannel shirt and just run-of-the-mill slacks. I doubt very much that, he's a doctor. It's an interesting city. It's an incredible mix of people, and if you pay $800-900 a month, which is a hell of a lot of money, let's not pretend otherwise, you get a lot for it too.
Oh yeah,
more than you do in other towns.
Yeah, one thing that I was thinking is that it'd be better for me to buy than to rent. Buy a condo down there.
Again, that kind of depends on where, how, where, when, why, and so forth and so on. But yeah, there's. Lassiter. I've been sitting here thinking during the commercial break, some of you may not really be fond of puppy dogs and kittens and gerbils and may not be moved by my threats to do unspeakable things to them unless the board fills up. Therefore, I would appeal to some of you who are maybe not animal lovers, but lovers of mankind. I would point out to you that I get 43 cents a phone call, and I have grossly overspent for the Christmas season. So if I do not get a tremendous number of calls, I am going to have to cut back on my wife's food. In January and February, she will not be able to get the proper nutrients and vitamins, and if she withers away and suffers terrible things, it will primarily be your fault. Quentin, hi. Quentin, you're on the air at WLS.
Yeah, I'm from Clinton, Indiana, down here by Terre Haute, center of the BASF controversy. And
the BASF controversy. Perhaps it's a controversy that has eluded me.
Well, it's a chemical organization from the East Coast that's wanting to form here in Terre Haute, which has just purchased property.
Okay.
But I was calling on the prospects of the 1990s. I have a real good outlook for myself, finally. Been the victim of a drunk driver accident. I see a lot of controversy over in East Europe, Western Europe. I don't think that people realize yet that this is just the beginning, that there's millions and millions of people that have prospects of being on the top of the heap, and that there's going to be lots of disturbances down the road when they find out that only a minute amount of the people will make it, and that everybody else will be, there'll be poor people still too.
Well, there are always going to be poor people, but what I think a lot of people are failing to understand is there's something in the air, something in the water. I don't know what it is, but there's a period of tremendous change and upheaval coming. Why, how, precisely when, exactly what form it's going to take, I don't know, but the 1990s are not going to be tranquil.
No.
Not by any stretch of the imagination.
These millions of people over there all have the same dream. And pretty much everybody thinks that freedom means prosperity, which it does in the overall group, but still there will be a minority.
Well, that's another mistake that we make when we think that these people are clamoring for, United States type freedom. These people are not clamoring for the freedom to have their houses repossessed, or the freedom to be, screwed by businessmen.
Yeah, but that comes with it.
Sometimes. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. 591-8900 to the southwest side we go. Hi there, Southwest.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know if I should tell this story or not, but this is a bitter story of Christmas. The bitter part of it. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Cut me off as you go along.
Well, yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. This is a story that's mostly unbelievable to anyone. And it happened. It's like,
well, perhaps a little less preferencing the story and a little more story would be in order.
Well, you see, it happens that a lunatic has moved into the family practically on a detective. Now, this happens to be the saddest moment in my life. I was hit by a car. I was hospitalized for, say, 9 weeks. And during that time, everything that I had in mind and all has been disappearing from my premises and all that. I was cast against a lot of people when I was in the hospital. This creep, you might say his name is, slipped a pill undetected to me, and I didn't know what happened. During that little stretch of time, they told me that I was out of my mind or something like that. No, my accident did not hit my head. Just had torn ligaments and a shiner. I was well of mind and told them all the facts. Then it happens, this creep was planning this stuff to be happening like that for at least 3 years. I'd never realized it till after I got home from the hospital. Now, this was a holiday season. Now, for the last 9 months, all I had was a lot of torture, heartache. And this character has been breaking into my home, stealing stuff, doctoring me with pills and stuff. I was to get 3 days home from the hospital. I caught him, doctoring my medication. Then I got hit real hard. A therapist that came over to take me out. We were supposed to go for a walk around the neighborhood, see what it was like. And out of the clear blue sky, everything was falling apart. I was going blind. I couldn't see. The therapist, she shook up. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "But I have a feeling that something is wrong." She said, well, show me around what the store is and show me what you do and everything like that. And you see, I'm legally blind. She wanted to see how I maneuvered with crutches. So we went to the store, and I couldn't see nothing, although the store I've been going to a long time. She says, come on, let's go home. And she says, we'll go next time. I couldn't see nothing. She opened up the door, set me down, and she said, sit down. And who do you want me to call?
WFLA.
Hello, wanting to speak to Lassiter.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, are you is this who I'm talking to?
Yeah, this is who you're talking to.
Lassiter.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't understand. You didn't say that you were. You don't say.
I don't have to say that I am, sir. I have a very, very distinctive style.
Yeah, well, I just talked to Jeffy, and but I wanted to talk to you about.
Yes, sir. We're all dying to find out. You've been on the air now for over a minute.
That's you just full of baloney.
Oh.
I haven't been on. I just now dialed the place. And the phone rung and rung and rung before I even got a hold of you.
That's correct, sir. Yes. And you called to talk about.
Why are you so upset with me?
And you called to talk about.
I called to talk about. I called WFM. I've called WWBA Wheeling, West Virginia, and nobody knows anything about anybody. And I wanted to know what you thought about it.
Could you tell me which anybodies you had in mind?
Well, the Grand Ole Opry, the Louisiana Hayride, and on and on and on. You can just keep on talking about it, and nobody knows any damn thing about it.
Well, that's probably, sir, because those programs are not really carried in this market. So it would be very difficult for people in a market like this to be able to talk about shows that they have never heard.
I just wanted to know what you thought of it.
I mean, I can't remember the last time we got a good, juicy call here on the Alphonse, a Glickenheimer show out of Tulsa.
Mm-hmm. Well, I listen to your show every night because...
Hasn't done you damn bit of good, has it?
Huh?
I said, oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, you don't really care, do you? But the problem is I can't call on my company phone because they don't want to pay the calls. So I have to come home and make the quick call. But I didn't mean to type your phone tonight. You said I've been on the phone for a minute, and it wasn't so.
It was so at that point. And we were still trying to find out why you called.
I called you to ask you what was your opinion of why nobody knows about Jim Reeves. Nobody knows about Hank Williams.
Jim Reeves has been dead for quite some time. Hank Williams much longer than that.
I know that, but that's history. Does anybody know any history in it today?
Sir, I don't really think that Jim Reeves qualifies as history.
Well, no.
No. He qualifies as a dead singer.
But that's the point. Nobody knows anything about history for talk shows.
Well, sir, what exciting angle would you perceive for a
well, let me ask you this:
a good conversation about Jim Reeves?
Have you ever heard of Ralph Emery?
Yes, sir. I've heard of Ralph Emery. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Most talk show hosts, they don't even know about Ralph Emery.
Well, again, sir, what tantalizing angle on Ralph Emery would you like to take?
These people...
I know her history, and so are you.
6:30, good evening, Richard.
You think? Well, when you start getting calls about Jim Reeves, when your listeners out there get themselves a bottle of Wild Turkey and fill up a little tumbler there with 3, 4, 5 fingers worth and
call up and lament the fact that no one ever calls to talk about Jim Reeves. I think it might be time. Or the riveting program of the Louisiana Hayride. Here, 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Lassiter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I know how your traffic guy's pulling the wool over your eyes. I think all he has is a laptop with a road map program in it, and all he has to do is pull up whatever town you want to know, look at the map, he's got all the names and streets of bridges and...
Yeah, but Genesee and Park is not a major intersection. Park Street in Utica, New York is just a cross street, and it's not even near a major intersection.
Right. Well,
and to pull that out of the thin blue air, and it just so happens to be an intersection very close to which I lived, which he would have no way of knowing. And, that was 20 years ago.
Right. Now, I've got a street map program that I use every once in a while, and it has all the streets, just like if you pulled up a Tampa street map.
Yeah, but my point is, there's just nothing that would stick out about Park and Genesee. Just nothing. I mean, it's just one of, 150, 200 streets that intersect Genesee Street and Utica. And to just pull that out of the thin air was asking too much.
Yeah, you don't think it was just coincidence that you did that?
Nope.
No? But, was there an actual accident or some traffic thing there that was happening? Or
yeah,
I heard that part.
Exactly. They were real traffic reports. I'm positive of it. They were honest-to-God real traffic reports. Especially today, where he continued to pound on the Herkimer area.
Because I've always known you to be a person who always wants to check in and, some substance, whether something's true or not. And I never heard him substantiate any of this as true. That's all I was...
the only thing that I can think of is that there's some kind of an information tree.
Right.
On such things, because... the others that I threw at him were tough. But, come on, Herkimer...
Because I know on mine also, I can type in a street name and a town, and it'll pull up everything about that area. I can type in a zip code, too. I can do it a lot of different ways.
And I can see no reason under the sun why you would have a laptop with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know sure as hell the station wouldn't provide it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's connected with some way for his traffic reports or not with the police.
We'll just find out what kind of a decent human being he really is if he will divulge to me, tonight in my email, just how he's pulling this off.
Yeah, also one thing, correction on that $20 underwear, one for...
Yeah, it would be 20 cents.
Yeah. I'm out of my car now, so I can't hear what's going on in the show, but when I got home,
You're right, I was wrong.
Yeah, well...
I gave you 1/10 of 1%.
Right, well, I hope you find out that he's actually pulling the wool over you and he doesn't have those kind of connections to find out...
Well, even if it was something like that, the guy's a one-armed paper hanger at that time of the day.
Right,
he's doing traffic reports all over the place, plus he's got to listen to what...
And that's one of them right there. We know that money is never going to touch the hands of the Iraq.
What's going on there?
Right.
It's a miserable job without any time, I should think, to go even looking up a street map of the Herkimer, New York area.
Right. I hadn't even thought of that until you mentioned it tonight, because I've been listening since the first night when you were talking about Norfolk, Virginia, and I've been every night on the way home.
Well, you see, there's something that would shoot down your theory, because he didn't mention anything about Military Highway, which is a very, very main drag, and I brought that up. And if he had been looking at a map, he would have easily seen Military Highway, but he was just flabbergasted.
Well, this is what I thought was that, the first time he didn't know anything, and then the next time he knew everything. So I'm thinking, he's borrowed a friend's laptop, and he's got a street map program on it, a really good one like the one I've got, and now he's got information, but at first he didn't.
Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to find out how he's doing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start right now, so let me get out of here.
Rumor has it that this New Year's Eve is going to be a little, different. So if you're thinking about renting...
970 WFLA, and yes, I am Lassiter.
Yes, I heard you mention Jim Reeves and Hank Williams earlier, and I just want to know if you was jealous of them.
Jealous of them, ma'am? Why would you think that I would be jealous of
Well, they draw
dead
more
people?
of a crowd dead than you do alive.
Really, ma'am? When was the last time that Jim Reeves drew a crowd?
Well, when he died, he had 30,000 people there, and Hank Williams...
Well, ma'am, I haven't died yet, so don't be so sure that I won't draw a larger crowd at my funeral.
Now, Dad, you don't own your talk show.
What do you mean I don't own my talk show, ma'am?
You don't draw that crowd on your talk show.
Yes, man. We draw somewhat better than 30,000 people. Yeah, yes, we do.
Jim Reeves and Hank Williams.
Of course, most of them are elderly women. Kind of shot up on rum bonbons, but
I don't drink bonbons, whatever you call it.
Most of them pop them, man. Very few people drink them.
Well, I haven't popped any either.
Right.
I'm not on any kind of drugs. I'm just listening to your show, and it's just... You just insult a lot of people.
Well, thank you, man, for noticing.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
And drop dead. 990-WFLA. Won't have to wait long for that. 990-WFLA in Hillsborough, 461-WFLA in Pinellas. Hi, you're on the air, 970-WFLA, and yes, I am Lassiter.
How you doing?
Excellent.
On the Jim Reeves guy.
Oh, God. Yes, sir.
He had some good songs, like the Alaska, Springtime in Alaska. Remember the one that...
Forget that, yeah.
Yeah. Remember the one that went, put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. We'll pretend that we're together all alone. I'll tell the man to turn the jukebox way down. Whoa. And you can tell your friend there with you.
It's time to go.
In Gibsonton, the one, your friend in Gibsonton, if you live near the Chico Electric place, he's got a glow.
Gee, we haven't heard from him for a while, yeah.
Well, he's got a glow. The guy that lives in Gibsonton next to Chico, he's got the glow. And I'm not mocking any Orientals. He's got the glow. Mr. McGlue. Remember Mr. McGlue?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
He's got the glow.
And you're not mocking Orientals, right?
And I'm not mocking Orientals.
Or Jim Reeves.
But I am mocking the guys, geeks that live in Gibsonton. They've got to glow.
Oh, yeah.
Next to the Chico plant. They've got to glow.
Right. Excellent.
Lionel, wherever you are, save this show. Please, Lionel, come back. Lionel, please, come back. Please, Lionel. You're our hero. Please, Lionel.
May have something to do, sir, with why management hasn't asked him to come back, is the fact that you are his hero. Hi, you're on the air, 970 WFLA. Yes, I am excellent, and Lassiter. You're on the air, 970 WFLA.
I'm going to drink a case of Falstaff and leave it trenched by your stone.
990 WFLA in Hillsborough, 990 WFLA in Pinellas. There he is, cursing the moon.
Why, God, why him and not me?
Hi, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to talk to Bob, if I may.
I am Lassiter, sir, and I am fine also.
Oh, hi, how you doing?
Excellent.
Okay, no, seriously, I didn't call to insult you, Bob. I listen to you a lot. Why do these folks that don't like you, why do they listen? I'm missing something here.
How would I know?
It's confusing. A lot of times I listen, a lot of times I don't. If I don't like the topic, if I think you're being obnoxious, I don't have to. I can shut it off. This is totally amazing. This is a free country. We don't have radio police going to put people in jail if they don't listen to you. I don't know. What do these folks not have any lives?
How would I know, sir? I know nothing more about them than you do.
It's sad, but it's funny.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. God. Hi, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I think probably the reason I listen so much to this program is it lets me know there's people out there stupider than I am.
I thought it appropriate to leave just a little pause there in the program so that we could all fill in our own, thoughts on that last call. Hi, you're on the air, 970 WFLA.
Lassiter, you couldn't hold Michael LeBron's jockstrap. You know that?
Did you have any other original material, sir? Thank you for making my point. Hi, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
The wine coolers in Sun City Center are catching in. Lionel, where are you?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
The wine coolers in Sun City.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Make that a case.
You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I can skin a buck and run a trot line, but can a radio hack do that?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Why are you always making fun of the old people? That's not nice. You're always yelling at the old people and saying nasty things on the radio about the old people, and it's not very nice. It's not very funny.
Nor are you. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
God bless the NRA. They keep us safe and strong.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I want to talk to Bob.
You are, sir.
Dude, your show.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Always an asshole.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Contract's up, show's over, sue ya.
Could well be, sir. Could well be. At least I had one, huh? You know, people can say, Chase, that I'm washed up. People can say that I'm finished. No one will ever be able to say that about you, Chase. Ever. You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bob?
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
Excellent.
Well, that's good. Why is everybody bad-mouthing you, Bob?
They always do, sir.
You're a hell of a man.
Yes, I am.
Well, according to most people.
Mm.
The Australian, on the other hand, he thinks you're a miserable old fart. Why is that, Bob?
I don't know, sir.
Well, I'd like to know.
Telling people for
all
15,
intents and
I've been
purposes,
telling
Bob.
people for 15 years that I have no idea who calls or why.
15 years?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Bob, you're not homosexual by any chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. The Australian is kind of interested and frustrated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. Bob, talk to me.
About what, sir? What would you like to talk about?
Well, I'd like your input on whether or not the Aussie is hot for your buns.
Let's try it again, sir. I have no idea. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Oh, please start screening these calls. Most of your listeners, you have a topic and go on with some things, and here's some of these people. Please start screening your calls.
If we had, sir, you wouldn't have made it. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I'm as mad as hell, not going to take it anymore.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, Bob.
Yes, sir.
You're not finished. You've just begun. And Lionel, where are you? Where are you, Lionel? Did he fall for it? Lionel, where are you?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Whatever happened to Richard Shanks?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter,
Yes.
remember a few weeks ago you told somebody the good callers just went away? They didn't go away. You quit letting us on. Because you're wimpy. Is your contract up soon, mister?
Yes, it is.
Really?
Yes, it is.
When?
Mhm.
When?
December 31st.
Well, it's kind of sad, but you're too mean.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
Okay. She said you just quit letting us on, right? Yeah. I thought that's what she said. Hi, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
You got a pretty mouth, Bob. I kind of like it. I want to kiss you. I want to kiss you good and hard, Bob.
On the air 970 WFLA.
What's up, Bob?
Not much.
Are you old enough to remember Groucho Marx?
Yes, sir.
Quick question, if I may. What was the name of that television show that he used to be on?
You Bet Your Life.
Okay, another question, if I may. You Bet Your Life. Okay. What was his
I suppose you would call him the second banana.
George Fenneman.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, call him anytime. Why do I remember crap like that? George Fenneman is an icon of Second Banana. What famous comedian got her start on that show as a contestant? It actually led to her career. Do you know? I can't remember. I want to say Carol Burnett, but I can't remember. Phyllis Diller. Oh, God, yeah, that's right. Hi, you're on the air 970 WFLA.
Let's get some KY jelly. And
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, wasn't that George Fenneman Cooper?
No, sir.
I know. Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Lionel, where are you?
You're on the air 970. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
which, if it's true, could mean death to all of us.
No, just you. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Vince Namoli's still an asshole.
I'm nearly the asshole that you are. And that says a lot, dude. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
He's old enough to follow Karl Marx.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Put your sweet lips.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
It is the holiday season, and be sure to tip the pizza guy.
You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I think I saw the jumping cowboy on TV yesterday. He was down at a mission in Bradenton, first in line for turkey. I couldn't be sure, but it looked like some archive photos I'd seen from his heyday.
Oh. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I agree with him.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Wasn't your father Henry Marx?
You know, I'm going to talk to you real serious. This December 31st thing. The only thing that bothers me is that they won't give me an answer. It really is kind of frightening, to be perfectly honest with you. The check is fairly large every week, every 2 weeks. But I really don't think I would mind. Because I know that there are reasonably hip and cool people out there. But I'm just so sick and tired of dealing with the same 24 assholes over and over and over again. And there is a very distinct possibility that I can replace the money. A very distinct possibility. Because that's frankly my only concern, is the money. Dealing with these same moronic idiots who don't even realize how pathetic they are over and over again every night of the week. It's just so old. So old. There's some nights I enjoy this so much it's almost sinful. And there's some nights it's just tragic. Just tragic. Hi, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, hi. Can I speak to... Hi. Can I speak to Bob Lassiter?
You are.
I am. What a voice you have.
That's correct. That's why you mistook it for board operators.
Do you know what?
What?
All these people that call you on Friday night do not have a life. I'm on my way to party. I listen to you because it gets me going, and I'm glad they're calling you and not going where I'm going.
We're all glad of that.
We are?
Sure, and none of us have to have any fear that these people will show up at any place where there are normal human beings.
I know. Isn't that sad?
Yes, it is.
Well,
Same miserable acts. For years it's been going on. Years.
I know. I'm going like, where do these people come from? I have no idea. But I guess we have to...
I think most of them are natives.
Natives?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm a native, and I'm not like that.
Well, not all natives are, but I think most of them are natives.
I thought they were all from Michigan.
And they're natives who don't have air conditioning.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you.
All those years of those miserable summers sitting by that little fan, you know.
That's what it is.
Hoping against hope to catch a breeze.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's great to listen to you.
Yes, it is.
I enjoy it.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, I heard you had me in love with Freddie Mertz.
Is that supposed to be amusing? I guess it was. I'll pull a Dr. Laura. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, I just wanted to call and say I love the show. You make my commute home every night a little bit more bearable. And you do got a pretty mouth, Bob, and I want to kiss it good and hard.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that I've missed you very much. A long time ago, I worked until 5 o'clock at night. Every night I got out of my car in time to hear you. And when I first started listening to you, I didn't like you very much. And a lot of times I would switch over.
Just out of curiosity, why not?
I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing is that I wasn't listening, and that's why I didn't like you. What I found out is as I got bored trying to find something else to listen to, because I just can't stand just listening to the radio, I actually wanted to listen to what you were saying. And from that point, I got it. Now I work until 8 o'clock at night, and I love Marvelous Marvin and Jeffy Mania, and I don't get to listen to you very often. But tonight I got off early, and I just wanted to call and say that I miss you. I miss the thought-provoking conversations that I would listen to, and just appreciate your show a lot, and I wish I could listen to it again.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you be good. You're on the air 970 WFLA. Hi, you're on the air 970. Oops. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Nickel's worth of free advice. Don't let the simple bastards get you down. Take the money and run. Frog.
Here's an interesting email. Bob, if the Northeast is superior, why don't you head back up to New Jersey, New York, or Philly, whichever you decide is superior on that particular day? Oh, sir, any of them are vastly superior to here. They are all the same to us. Old dumps containing people with accents and attitudes. That way, you can see bums living in the streets rather than nude dancing establishments. Choke on your turkey. Sir. What you and the other locals fail to realize is that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of us from the Northeast, which is a vastly superior place, have made a personal sacrifice and have come down here to help improve your life, to keep you from marrying your cousins and drinking so much Coca-Cola that your teeth rot and fall out. That's why we are here, sir. We have made a personal sacrifice, and you should be grateful for it. Because you and all of the others need us. Desperately need us. Now take Jeffy. Jeffy has come down here to help straighten you out. And he has had to give up Upper Peninsula cheese, fresh Upper Peninsula cheese. He's had to give up walking in the woods with a moose so that he can drive up and down US 19, sweat like a pig most of the year, and have to put up with, oh, God, South Florida cheese. Be grateful, sir. Be grateful. Hi, you're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bye, Bob. Love to hate you. See ya. Have a lovely life.
See, my demise would be his only success in life. And the poor bastard doesn't even realize it. And if he does, he doesn't mind sharing it with you. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I'm feeling naughty, Bob. Would you like to be naughty with me?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. I really appreciate you being here on the radio. I tell you, it does break the monotony, and you have one of the best radio stations, you know, where you're at here. It's just, you know, there's no one to compare yourself to.
That's right.
And that Jeffy show yesterday, I'm still trying to figure it out yet. Did you get a chance to hear any of it?
No, sir, I didn't.
The game show was really good, except he just, I had to close my ears a lot.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you have to do that?
It's just the way it was, I guess the formatting of his show. You know, but then again, it's like anything. It takes time to get used to.
Yeah. And it was only 3 hours.
Yeah.
Which is not enough time to get used to Jesse.
Yeah, it's true. You're absolutely right on that.
You would need at least 6, maybe 7.
I was thinking months, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, have a good show.
Hey, thank you. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. I was wondering if you knew where I could find Tim Coles.
No, sir, I don't.
You ever know what happened to him after PLP? I really missed him.
No, sir.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if he's still in the market anywhere.
Well, there aren't that many stations, sir, and if you really made a concentrated effort just punching, up and down the dial, if he's still on the market, you'd probably, find him.
Never heard him. Yeah, okay, well, I thought you guys were pretty good friends, but, okay, have a good night, Bob.
Okay. No, been missing Tim Coles for 10 years. I wonder if he's still in the market. Or maybe somebody who knows will call in. You're on the air 970. Whoops. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Does this truly look like Brutus from the Popeye cartoon?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Robert.
Yes, sir.
Of all the years I've been listening to you, the words of wisdom like Soupy Sales, it's not so much that you succeed, it's that the other guy fails. And, Lionel is the main man, and you wanted him to fail, and he's a big success now, and you're a big nothing. You are the parade going out of town. Get out of town and put your thing between your legs, and Lionel, where are you? You have forsaken us. Please, Lionel, come back.
You think a man that had been that much of a big success would be easier to find? You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yes. Were you a big fan of Gene Shepard?
Nope, never heard him. But I know of him.
You know of him?
Mm-hmm.
You ever listened to him in Pennsylvania or anything?
What I believe I just said, that's correct.
All right, I was just checking. Relax. Yeah, he did a beautiful requiem on the road, and it was just a really beautiful thing. And it's very similar to some of the things that you do, some of the monologues of this. Wondering if you knew of him.
I know of him.
Okay, well, you have a good evening.
Okay. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Can I speak to Bob?
You are, sir.
Oh, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, how you doing? You know all this Y2K stuff? You know all this Y2K stuff? It's just a whole bunch of hype, you know?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Screw the pizza guy. Over 500.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I don't have an inferiority complex. I don't need to discuss my successes nor my failures.
You don't have a platform to discuss them. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Whatever happened to
Never will.
Flores?
You're You're on the air 970 WFLA.
What time does the Dennis Crandall show come on?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob, just let everybody know Lionel did get sued about that one guy up in Atlanta, that guard that supposedly set that bomb off up there. He did get sued because of that.
What do you mean he got sued because of that?
Well, evidently he had said something over the radio saying that that guard had something to do with that bomb going off, and he turned around and sued him.
You can sue anybody for anything, sir.
I know. But Lionel did get sued over that.
So?
I listened to that one guy that kept on saying Lionel come back and everything. It started getting on my nerves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
See ya.
Yeah. Hope not. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bob, you're a fairy.
Oh, I'm devastated. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bob.
Yeah.
Is that you?
No. You're on the air 970 WFLA. After all these years, they still don't believe it.
Say hi to Henry.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yeah, hey, look here. I want to know if y'all want to come over and do some speed shooting.
You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
You shouldn't be picking up cold calls. This is bad radio. You should do a monologue or something. These idiots don't understand. This isn't the time to call your local radio station and make stupid noises and hang up and hear yourself on the radio. What kind of morons do we have in this area?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Bob, are you on the air? Am I on the air?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Rancho Cucamonga.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Frog.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Are you going to do your Halloween show this year?
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Hey, this is a little message that I got that just said what idiots are out there. There's a bunch of screwballs out there.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
I don't know how you do it, man. You're such a windbag. You bamboozled the public for what, 12 years now? Time for you to retire.
You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
That's not retire, that's fire.
You're on the air 970 WFLA.
Yes, Bob, I wanted to say I enjoyed when you talked about people on minimum wage and how much you understood it. And, I just wish they had benefits and all that, and I don't know what's going to happen with the people on welfare and all that. But I know that you really felt for the people who are on minimum wage. I remember this one night, and I appreciated that.
Sergey from Russian Mafia here with word of
WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA. You're on the air 970 WFLA.
That's it?
Could be.